Good morning, YouTube. What's going on, everybody? What's happening out there? Happy Saturday. Thanks for being here. Please hit the thumbs up on the way in. Play the intro song, and then got a guest with us, and we'll have a quick chat this morning. Hope everyone's feeling good. It's chilly here in Pismo Beach. I woke up and it looked like it rained, which is not very common. But on the upside, it's a beautiful day. The birds are chirping. Let me just share my intro with you. I'm gonna play a rock and roll song to start us out today. Let's see. Yeah. There we go. Can you guys see that? You can. All right. All right, guys. Enjoy the tune. I'll be right with you. All right. Welcome in, everyone. Thanks for being here. As you can see, Just Irish is joining us this morning. What's up, Irish?
What's happening?
Not much.
Good
It's a
morning.
chilly day here. Chilly day here. I think I might move my ass back inside. I don't know. We'll see. My hands and knees are cold.
Yeah, it's
I figure we'll just
I
look
don't
over
even know
some
what the
news stories.
temperature is here.
I didn't look either here. It's 53 degrees. So it's like right on that line where it's just like it's not cold, but
Yeah,
it's not quite warm. I did a little
yeah,
workout this morning, so
I just know it's humid as hell here, so I keep my air on just to keep the moisture out.
yeah, I've been hearing a lot of people say they've got the AC and the heater on this time of year. That's
Yeah, that's Wisconsin. Well, I'm sure PA is similar, but if you don't like the weather, we just hold on a minute.
exactly. Welcome in, Apothecary Angel, Yvette. I think there was a couple people that were here before that. I can't. Was it Wise Angel? I'm not exactly sure. Um, Unfortunately, my restream chat only goes back to 8:31. So people that were in here early, I can't see. But thanks for being here, everybody. Deanna Downey in the house, headstones and headlines as always. What's up, Grain? Good morning. Seclusion works. How do I sound? Do I sound like I drank a bottle of whiskey this morning, or do I sound like I'm?
Totally.
I just wanted to make sure. Thanks everybody who reached out to me yesterday. Whenever one of the planets decided to have a breakdown on me, we're not going to do drama this morning. I just wanted to say thanks to all my people who reached out to me. I'm fully aware of everything that was said. I'm fully aware that Rebecca was in her chat saying, "Oh, Goleta in Santa Barbara is beautiful this time of the year." This is
What?
the only drama I'm going to offer right now. Rebecca, you're only 17 years behind. I think I got a good head start on you, stupid. And also, Rebecca, I have to say this too. Stop hiding in your bathroom and answer the fucking door, Rebecca. Stop being such a scared little bitch and answer the door.
What?
Yep. What's up, Marie? Good morning. Seclusion in the house. What's up, Seclusion? Hope you're feeling well. Narcos. KCG in the house says, putting out the announcement, I'm looking for somebody who can help me do a live. I would love to, but you probably don't want me to do it because then they'll start attacking you, KCG. But I would be happy to do that. I'm going to set up. There's a serious need for video making class. I got to teach people how to clip because everyone seems to. There's so many people that want to do it, but they just they're intimidated by the whole process. So I know I've been talking about it for a while, but I'm looking at Wednesday afternoon to do that. And then I also have to do a mod meeting because I realize I'm not really in the best communication with my moderators like I should be. That's my fault because I don't really know what I'm doing here. I'm just learning. So, but it's
I don't
got to be
know.
done.
Yeah, I
It's got
got
to be
no
done.
issues, but
Yeah, I mean, there's not really much going on. I mean, I go out of my way to just leave everything on Front Street and let everyone know what's happening. Just another amateur in the house. Sinner and Irish. Good morning, chat and mods.
yes. Hello, everyone. I'm sorry, I was distracted for a minute, but I'm looking at chat now. Good morning, y'all.
Haley Ryan in the house.
Yeah,
Grain has so many clips. I bet you do. After getting into the Hives Discord, I was like, fuck, I'm going to need an external hard drive. Headstone says, I'd be willing to help you. There you go. That's probably way better for you, KCG, to have Emmy do it. I'm a
right.
toxic guy. Remember, I'm the bad. I'm the boogeyman.
You're the YouTube plutonium.
I'm fine with that. I mean, unfortunately,
No doubt, right?
Irish, you'd think if I was plutonium that they'd want to stay away from me, right? This guy's so dangerous.
Yeah,
He's so
that's
crazy.
true.
Let's fucking talk about him every day and pretend we know where he
Right.
lives. Good morning, Posse. But I don't know who the hell's door she's knocking on, but I'll see you in 17 years when you finally catch up to me, Heifer. That's all I can say about that. Yeah, Emmy has
Move too
a lot of
quick.
clips too. KCG says, and he's also volunteered. The issue is I have been working toward this, but in tandem with the yep. Oh, okay, I see. So it's not as simple as learning the software. I have to adapt and accommodate through software. I understand. I'll help you any way you can, but I would definitely take Emmy up on her offer though, because she's been doing it longer than me. And you know, full disclosure, when I don't know what I'm doing, I ask Emmy, like, well, how does this work? How do I do this? So I still can't figure out how to put my lives on my homepage. So that's the first thing you see. So when you go onto my page, it's like for you, and then popular videos, and then lives all the way at the bottom. So I still can't. She gave me detailed instructions, and I still can't fucking do it.
What's the for you hashtag?
That's just like if you go into. Let me see if I can show you. If you go into just your YouTube page, if I could just go to my page and figure out how to do this. Boom, boom, boom.
Hey, Boston, Emmy, Grain, KCG.
It's actually one of the most effective, effective ways to. I'll show you.
To run traffic to your channel?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And it's one of the best hashtags,
But I'm just wondering what the for you is, because I know what for you is on Twitter.
I think it's similar. I'll show you. Let's see.
No, I was watching Turtle Boy one night, and someone added, it was a for you something hashtag on Twitter, and someone had tagged him or something with that, and he looked it up, and he got peen bombed.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was a crazy Twitter thing.
If you look at the screen, Irish, see, this is my homepage.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get to 5,000. What's the problem? It'll be your most recent video, which is obviously I'm live, so that's that. But then the first section here is for you. And this, whenever someone comes to
now
your page,
I get it.
That's the first.
Now I get it. Okay.
What I've been trying to do is get my live. See, now look, my lives aren't even on. You have to click on lives here. Whereas Emmy taught me a way to put your live in this first section here. I still can't fucking do it. That way, when someone comes in, because if I'm live, they don't have to sort through a bunch of shit or click on anything else. They'll just see.
Right. It'll pop up.
There.
Yeah, because there are some channels where it does pop up like that.
Exactly.
So,
and you can do that in studio, but I'm a knucklehead.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Hey, Marie, come on over.
Analytically,
Marie,
don't do much for traffic. That's untrue. I don't know where you heard that, Emmy, but Google it. It actually it dictates a lot of where your stream goes in the algorithm. The best way to do it is to use as little hashtags as possible and be really pointed at what you're advertising or what you're tagging. I just go blah 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 blah. YouTube for you page trending, Cromedy, hashtag fact check. The hashtags I typically use don't really do much, but there are hashtags that you can use that make it far more effective. Specifically, trending seems to work.
I just hashtag snarky shit. I make up on my own for the day.
Gotcha.
Hashtag 34,
Oh, Emmy heard it from Google Studio. I don't know.
So there's that.
Yeah. Well, it's a debate. I mean, I can look at all of my videos, and the ones that I hashtag more accurately have about 40% more views on them. So I'm going to keep doing what I do, despite what Studio tells Emmy.
Because you just know.
Because it works for me. I mean, maybe it's just like good luck. I'm wearing tights under my dress pants. I feel like a mother. That's funny. Good morning, Balashis. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Great to hear from Sinner. Thanks so much for being here, guys. I want to show you just a couple things. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for this. Again, I don't often use other people's product, I'm not the biggest fan of Ashley Banfield, but her and Brian Enton did such a great job.
Whoa. What are you doing to me? Okay,
No, but
what
they
is
did
she
a
talking about?
they,
Depends
they,
what
they
she's
did
talking about, I guess.
they did a great job in explaining how the Nightline episode negatively impacted the pre-trial process there in Idaho.
Oh,
Also,
okay, great.
I was looking at bed and breakfast to go out and poke around and cover the Koberger trial. I knew this, but I had to look again. Idaho is one of the goofiest fucking shaped states that there is. I mean,
Well, yeah, it's on every bag of potatoes, man. You
it's
didn't
just
know it?
the shape of it is so weird. I mean, the distance between Coeur d'Alene and Boise is like 6 fucking hour drive. I had no idea. I had no
Oh,
idea.
wow. Oh,
It
so
has this
you were,
weird little
oh,
panhandle that goes almost all the way to damn Canada.
right.
I had no idea. But Boise has all the reasonably placed Airbnbs, anyways. Or actually, I don't use Airbnb. I use VRBO, Vacation Rental by Owner, which is
Yeah. I
a
mean,
little better.
so they must have a good size courtroom then, huh?
Well, there's going to be a really big overflow room,
Oh,
and
okay, gotcha.
what I learned is the two surviving roommates. Oh, it's all in the News Nation thing.
Okay,
If you don't mind,
okay.
we can go over that. We don't have to if
Yeah.
you
No,
read it.
I've been curious because I haven't been following like all the new stuff, and
Okay.
I've been meaning to watch The Lab. I'm gonna do that because like you said they explained it really well.
Yeah,
Um,
but yes, I'll never hesitate to watch Josh over there. It's awesome.
right. Oh, for sure.
But I also learned something else in watching this Ashley Banfield thing yesterday. When I watch Ashley Banfield, I have to look at the ground because her eyes like fucking hypnotize you. Not so much with Brian Eden, but like if you just watch Ashley Banfield, you just believe what I have to look down in order to be subjective, or else you just keep
Right.
drawing in like a fucking Medusa.
Every time I think of Brian N, I think of when he was I think it was the laundry fiasco, or I don't know where it was, but when he was walking behind Betty, and Betty's all, "Hi, Brian," and he's like, "Yep," and he kept walking by because he was
Not
like,
today, Satan.
I know what you."
That's funny.
I can just the visual just cracks me up. He's like, "Yep, okay," and he kept just going on. She's
That
acting
is
like they're
funny.
all friends, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm just playing nice, so she doesn't come after." Oh yeah, because he's like, "I don't want someone showing up at my door with a bullhorn." So he was being nice to her.
That's funny. Yeah, good call, Brian. Oh, I actually,
Oh really, Marie? Okay,
if
that's
for
why
some
I don't
reason,
like her.
if for some reason they zap me for this, I'll just pop right back up. Like I
Wait,
said,
what network is it? It's Core TV, or
no,
who?
it's
No,
News
not it's
Nation.
News Nation. That's right. Okay,
Yeah,
not yeah. I don't think
it should be
same.
okay. I mean, this is being used as fair use. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what it's
Hey,
for.
curious. Hey, Coco.
Balashi says, I read that they cannot show their faces, which is crazy because everyone knows. Well, not only, yeah, they get into that. I don't want to spoil it, but yes, it turns out that
Okay.
the judge is this judge is fucking incredible. First of all, he's got everything scheduled down to the minute. I mean, he wants to know where every witness, their hotel, what hotel room they're staying in.
Nice.
He's gonna try not to sequester the jury.
The right.
Oh, cool.
So
Emmy said
he's
she used News Nation for Taylor Casey. Okay, cool. That's right, you did. I've seen plenty of people do that, but
oh yeah.
my luck. Queen Movement, thanks for being here. Thanks everyone for being here. I see there's almost 100 of us.
Yeah.
Please hit the thumbs up, and we'll get right into it here. Hope everyone's feeling well. I'm not going to do downtrodden, drama this morning. I had enough of that yesterday. And like I was saying, thanks
Yeah.
everybody who reached out to me. I'm fully aware of what's going on. I'm fully aware. Sometimes you just gotta walk around people if there's just going to be a pothole in your life.
Walk around the potholes.
And if you haven't seen the Nightline episode, do yourself a favor and watch it because it's crazy. A bunch of shit was leaked, and no one knows
Okay.
who leaked it. I guess
Nightline. Where do you watch? Where can you watch Nightline at?
I think it's
Is it on YouTube?
No, not yet. I think it's
Okay.
Peacock And then
Okay.
there's a free, I think Pluto TV is a free app that has
Okay.
not the they do have the episode that we're looking for, but they don't have like it's not right away. It takes a week, so it's probably up there now. It
Okay,
wasn't up
cool.
there a couple days ago. And what is it? Pluto TV. Yeah, I think you can do a free trial, or there's a free version with commercials or some shit. Good morning, Coco Pop, Sam Witch, Landry. Thanks for being here. As long as you don't put your own watermark across their video and play it all day long, News Nation. Okay, cool. Thank you, Landry. I appreciate that. I mean, I've been doing this for 6 months, and I hardly ever use anyone else's stuff. So,
Right.
but let's get right into it. And if you want me to pause, Iris, just let me know, and I'll be pausing along the way to
Okay.
give my commentary as well.
This is Drop Dead Serious. I always say it. I say make sure you subscribe so that you never miss a bonus episode. And I mean it.
Oh, is she
'cause This is a
grifting?
bonus episode on something that happened in Idaho today. I had to talk to you about it.
I sorry to interrupt already, but I hate when fucking goons on YouTube say if you promote your channel, if you offer memberships, or if you ask someone to
Right.
subscribe that you're grifting, fuck that noise. If you have a product, that
It's
you're
the whole
producing-
point.
Exactly. I mean,
It's the
exactly.
whole point.
So with that said, if you're not subscribed, please consider doing so. And I do have memberships available if you're into that sort of thing. So just want to get, if you're proud of what you produce and you're
Yes.
putting in the work, then there's nothing wrong with asking for people to support your shit. That's not grifting.
Right.
That's called advertisement.
Right. Marketing.
I had to talk to Brian
Yeah.
Enton about it. So this was supposed to be the last hearing in the Koberger case before the trial starts this summer. And it was not. It was not because of all the things that were brought up in the hearing. The biggest thing that was brought up today was the effect of the Dateline NBC 2-hour special that revealed so much sourced information about the case last week that suddenly everybody on the case is at Twitter, like freaking out. Ann Taylor, Brian.
Well, there's that guy. I remember that cop right there, the guy that's balding a little bit. He's definitely gonna be one of my graphics for if I cover the trial for sure.
On the left there.
Yeah, the guy with the white shirt on.
Okay.
I remember
Yeah,
him
yeah.
bringing him in. I remember that back in January 2023. This is NPA. This guy's like, no bullshit. He's like, fuck my hair. It doesn't matter. I'm still a badass. I mean, he just looks like a cool dude. Like he gets off work and he doesn't even think about work.
Right.
Koberger's lawyer, not happy about what was revealed in the Dateline documentary.
Pop.
The judge in the case, Judge Hippler, not happy that there is a leak, that somehow evidence in this case leaked despite an airtight gag order, right? It's been 2.5 years we've been under this gag order. We barely found out anything. We always have to wait for a court document to drop for us to really get, legitimate information. But Dateline was just filled with details. Let me just go over a couple in case you didn't see it or if you need a refresher. Dateline had images from Brian Koberger's phone, images of college girls from Washington State University and University of Idaho.
Oh.
Some talk that there are connections between the
Yeah, that was one of the biggest things that came out of this. They think, well, the judge is pissed, obviously, and his attorney is trying to get his cell phone, anything to do with his cell phone, thrown out because what was leaked in Nightline. I don't want to spoil the Nightline
Oh,
episode
wow.
for you.
Yeah.
It's fucking bad news.
those girls and the victims in the house. Also, surveillance video of the white car circling 1122 King Road on the night the murders actually happened, back and forth, coming back and almost making a bunch of different circles around the house, chickening out, coming back, chickening out, coming back. Dateline had those images. How about this? Searches that Brian Koberger allegedly made, searches for porn.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to say, hey, are you allowed to say that on YouTube, Ashley? I just wanted to say good morning to Ninja Orchids, Apothecary Angel, and Yvette. They were in here, and Deanna. They were in here before I could see them in my phone chat, but not on my free stream. So welcome in, guys. Thanks so much for being here. Yeah, Ashley, you're not allowed to say prawn on the internet.
Right?
porn with really twisted words connected like forced, passed out, drugged. Also searches
If you want to remain subjective, don't look her in the eyes.
involved Ted Bundy, a serial killer. And not only that, but selfies that Brian Koberger took of him wearing a black hood after the murders. And then there was his obsession with coverage of the murders at 1122 King Road. These were all the things and more that Dateline was able to get from a source. But who was the source? Well, this hearing today drilled down on that. The judge in the case wants an investigation, a special prosecutor to go over all the people involved in the prosecution and the police, all of their outgoing.
This guy is an absolute badass. I've been doing some research on his prior cases. He's not going to take any bullshit from these people.
Nice.
I mean, she says he's forcing the lawyers to refer to each other as sir and ma'am.
Nice.
He's not taking
This
any
is like
bullshit.
the polar opposite of what's going on in the Free Karen Reed Karen Reed trial.
That's exactly
Yeah,
right.
because
That's exactly right. This
holy moly.
Let's see. Hey, good morning, Boston. Supports Lana. Says, I'm glad this stuff never should have been put out. Brian is fighting for his life, and he don't have a chance with all of this being put out. Whatever happened to innocent until proven guilty. Well, I mean, I think the innocent until proven guilty sort of goes out the window whenever you have a man's DNA on a knife sheath, and then you got his car circling the house, and the whole picture, in my opinion, paints that the man is, obviously had something to do with it. Did he work alone? Probably. I don't know. But the innocent until proven guilty, that's for the courtroom. Everyone else is allowed to have any opinion they want about it at all. That's how the world works.
Yeah, but if this does go to the court of law, though. I mean, this could really affect his case. And if you're looking, he's worried about a fair trial. The justice system is what I can see that point.
Yeah, well,
but I don't know the whole story yet either.
Yeah, well, I think that's the position the judge is in. He has to figure out of course, Brian Koberger's lawyer's like, well, we can't use the cell phone stuff now because it's been leaked. And she has a point. Boston gets it. I mean, I don't disagree with you, Boston. It's just the innocent until proven guilty thing, that's for the courtroom. The rest of us can assume that someone's guilty all we want. It sucks.
Right.
It sucks. But I mean, if I just look at the simple basic facts of what occurred that night, the video footage, the cell phone tracking, him having pictures of them in his phone, all of it adds up to, to me, it seems as though he's guilty. But who knows? Here's the biggest problem with this leak, in my opinion. They're already going to have a difficult time, finding a jury.
Right. Exactly. And that's
if there's a mistrial, forget about it.
Right. Like Emmy says, way to mess up a case. I mean, it's just, I'd rather have a completely, a fair trial and get it done right, So.
Hey, Sarah, thanks for being here. All right, let's continue. As you can tell, I'm not too accustomed to reviewing a video, so I got to keep it moving, or else I'll just talk off on it.
Right.
Emails. In fact, the judge said, put a freeze, do not delete any of your digital information because we are going to investigate where this information leaked out to Dateline. Here's the thing. I talked to a prominent Idaho lawyer who said she would not be surprised if Ann Taylor and the defense team for Brian Koberger put a motion forward in this court to say either dismiss these charges because the jury pool's been tainted by all this leaked evidence outside the gag order, or I want that evidence that was listed in the Dateline documentary thrown out of the trial. Holy cow! Could it be possible that everything we learned in the Dateline special may end up being pulled from the case because it wasn't supposed to be leaked?
That'd be a disaster.
All really good questions, as well as what can we expect? Because they're down to the nitty gritty on planning for the trial this summer. I had a very extensive conversation with Brian Enton about it. Here's our chat. So, Brian, what are the odds that this Dateline special, which we all were so engrossed by, right?
I just want to give some commentary here. So I'm sure you guys caught that, but what she's talking about is the judge wants everyone all the officers, all the lawyers, all the court officials, everyone, no one, he put on an order that no one's allowed to delete any of their stuff because they're going to investigate and try to figure out where the leak comes from. That's not normal. That's not normal. She explains better than me.
The details in it. What are the odds that those details may come back to sort of smack the actual case?
The trial will in fact be televised. Yes.
There's a possibility those pieces of evidence might actually get excluded from the case.
I mean, I would be shocked, Ashley, if those pieces of evidence got excluded from the case. They're obviously big parts of the case. I can't see the judge throwing those pieces of evidence out. Is it going to make it more complicated finding a jury? Yes. And
they get into that here in just a second, Sarah.
It's already going to be hard because so many people know about this case, not only around the country, but especially in Idaho. And the judge pointed out in his motion that he filed when he was so upset, saying he basically wants an investigation, he pointed out that it's going to cost taxpayer money. He said what Dateline did is going to cost the taxpayers of Latah County because he thinks it's going to make jury selection that much harder.
Yeah, you can't blame Dateline. I mean, we're journalists, right? You stick a gag order on a case that is of such massive public importance, you're just going to force us to try to get sources elsewhere. I mean, it's another argument against gag orders because it causes this problem. But then again, I guess the information that was released is the information they wanted gagged. It's sort of a catch-22. But so I did.
Oh, okay. You're muted.
Sorry, I'm muted. Yeah. Yes, they did, in fact, put a preservation notice on all the phones. I mean, everyone involved, everyone who was under the gag order is not allowed to delete a friggin' text message.
Preservation order, yep.
Ashley Banfield actually talks about how informants typically give information to journalists anyways. I found it very interesting. And it also made me realize, oh shit, yeah, if you want to be a confidential informant, you have to call a journalist and meet them somewhere and tell them with your mouth instead of emailing.
Oh, for sure.
Or else it's going to come back to you inevitably.
Yeah. A digital, there is no such thing as doing it any other way because you will
I just never considered that. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not much of a tipster, but I mean, if I get it now. If you want to be anonymous, you really got to go out of your way, or else you'll be dragged in the court.
It's like the mob, you don't talk on the phone. Don't talk on the. What did I tell you?
Exactly. Prank call, like Paul.
Yeah, prank caller.
I did read a comment from Edwina Elcox, who's a regular attorney that we interview on my News Nation show, that she, and as an Idaho attorney, she said, I would not be surprised if Bryan Kohberger's defense team and Taylor, the lead, put in a motion to have all of that evidence excluded as a curative measure to try to fix the jury pool tainting that just happened with that 2-hour special.
Yeah, and I'm sure they will. I mean, they've put in motions to have all of the evidence excluded already. They're looking for any little thing they can. I guess what I just think back to, and you've covered a gazillion, jury selections. I mean, they're going to find people who don't know all of those details, hopefully, whether the stuff was on Dateline or not. And that was a big part of what they talked about in the hearing that I was in today here in Boise, Idaho, is, they're going to create this juror questionnaire. So not the voir dire, but before that, when they're going to bring these pools of jury, potential jurors in, they're going to give them a questionnaire that they're going to fill out. To weed them out from the very beginning. And then those questionnaires are going to go back to these rooms in the back where the defense and prosecution are, and they're just going to immediately start weeding people out. So is this going to make it harder? Yes. But do I think I think they can find jurors. They find them for all these cases. I mean, we're in the crime world. We're obsessed.
See, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that there are jurors out there that are able to be non-biased in this situation?
Well, the point is, the point is you can know about the case, but you just have to be
Yeah.
unbiased about it. You
Yes,
have to be
you be
unbiased about it
impartial.
because the Karen Reed trial in Massachusetts this time around, if they're able to in Norfolk County find a jury, then nobody should be complaining, because you can know about the case. You just can't have opinions about the case.
Yeah,
That's that's the that's the
exactly.
bar.
Yeah, they just ask you, can you be impartial? And you can lie, but they know. I mean,
Oh,
the
they
the
know.
the process of selecting a jury is one of the most fascinating parts
It's an
of the justice
art.
system. I
Yeah,
mean, it
it's an
is fucking bananas.
they have
Um,
whole businesses that specialize in it.
exactly. Teams of people that sit
Yeah.
behind and inspect the people and observe them.
Yeah,
It's
they do those like the survey type things. What are they called? You know, um I
I'm
forget what
not
they're
sure the
called, but
technical term, but I know what you're talking about. And I
yeah,
guess the theory is they're not looking for which jurors they want. They're eliminating the jurors that they don't want.
right.
Is a more effective way to explain it. Let me just say
Hmm.
hello to people coming in here.
Yep.
Tracy G, Rapper, what's up, dude? Rapper, I saw a comment before Brittany's thing started yesterday. Man, I was worried about you. If you're ever in a mood, dude, feel free to email me and we'll talk shit. Lacey, thanks for being here. Balashi says they will find an impartial jury. I hope you're right. I think they can. And Brian Eden does have a good point here. We're obsessed with true crime. I mean, obsessed in quotations, of course. We fall just your average Joe that's out there working a 9 to 5 job. People. Of course, everyone in Idaho is aware of what happened, but I think you're right. I think they can find an impartial jury if they do it right. Good morning, Zoe, Lacey, Queen Bella's in the house. Kate, Tracy G. Curious AF, Scottish Bluebell, Linda's in the house, Yvette. All right, we'll get right back into it. And I do hope you're well, rapper. Freak me out with that comment, dude. I think you know what I'm talking about.
There's a lot of people that are just going about life around here that have probably just heard of Brian Koberger and that 4 college kids were killed, but beyond that, they don't know all the ins and outs.
You're right. You're absolutely right, and that's something that I always bring up with the gag order issue. I think, look, you assume that every piece of information is going to be gobbled up by the entire population in the jury pool. That's not always the case. There's a lot of people out there who watch zero true crime. I don't know who they are, but
Yeah.
Good morning, Truth Seeker. I hope you're well.
um, but I do think that finding a jury in this particular case in Idaho is actually going to be hard. It's not about have you heard, right? Because everybody's going to have heard something. It's like OJ. It's can you be fair? And this is not Diddy. This is not something that doesn't really affect you. This affected everybody. They were so blown away by the horror. It was like a Manson kind of attack. It was, it was a Truman Capote in cold blood kind of attack. It made no.
I just want to touch on KCG's comment here. When you have something of this worldwide and so complicated, it would be almost an injustice for public to be banned from court. Yeah, they get into
Yeah.
that. And I actually, strangely enough, Ashley Banfield and you agree, KCG, because you'll see the judge is setting up specific unusual circumstances for the 2 surviving roommates. They'll explain better than I could.
No sense. It made us all fear that we could be randomly picked like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like there are jurors in Idaho who felt like their innocence was stolen by this, so they're angry. So
Yeah.
that it might be harder to find jurors because it comes down to, can you be fair? I know you've heard about it, but can you be fair? And I think a lot of them will say, no, I want to see him fry.
When there's 2 other components too that are going to make it really hard. Number one, a 3-month trial. I mean, a 3-month trial. So you've got to find people that are willing to give up their lives for 3 months. And he gave the schedule today, 8:30 a.m. to 3:45 in the afternoon. And he was ending at 3:45 because if you had errands to run and you had to go to the bank or go to something, you have that hour and then you got to be back the next day for 3 months. And then
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, you got 1 hour a day, one business hour a day to go do whatever you got to do. I mean, that to me, it's more difficult to find a jury pool with those circumstances more so than, are you biased? I mean, how are you going to find 12 jurors and a couple alternates?
Right.
That 3
Right.
months is, and then if the judge actually goes through and sequesters the jury to a hotel, man, fuck, that sucks so much.
Mm-hmm. God, well, I
And
know,
then-
like,
Go ahead.
OJ's trial was super long too. It was, or the Menendez trial was like a year long,
It's funny
wasn't
that
it?
you mentioned. It's funny you mentioned the
Or
OJ trial, 'cause,
YSL, yeah.
Miss Banfield here, and you know what's strange to me? I didn't hear of. I was unfamiliar with Ashley Banfield until she was on the Banfield in Idaho. Remember those college kids were walking across the field and got stopped by the police? I don't know if you
No.
guys were following the case that closely, but that's where her first story about this case was those kids, those college kids in the walking across the Banfield. It's like near the house. Making
Yeah.
everyone a suspect, of course.
Yeah.
Grain says he wants 8 to 10 alternates. Holy shit, that's serious. I guess. I mean, I have all the confidence in this judge. He's solid.
He said, I don't plan on sequestering the jurors, but I'm not going to rule that out. And he said it a couple of times. He said, I don't want to say for sure no. As of now, I'm not planning on it. So that means that if something crazy happens during the trial, which happens where there's a juror that gets some
Hold on, let me address this comment really quickly. I see that all comments are not welcome. No, Tiny Dancer, all comments aren't welcome. If you say something crass, I mean, that's why moderators are able to delete comments. That's how YouTube works.
information or something
opinions.
weird happens, he could decide to sequester them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Well, if your opinion is something crass and crude, then of course it gets deleted. Waka waka. Good to see you, Tiny Dancer.
Like a month in, and suddenly they're in a hotel.
Well, let me tell you something. I think it's the worst thing you could possibly do is have a 3-month trial with sequestered jurors. You're too young to have been around for the OJ case, the 9-month sequestration, where the jurors were so mad that they were stuck for 9 months. They arrived with their verdict under 4 hours, right, of deliberations with their bags packed. They arrived at the courthouse to deliver their verdict with their bags packed as a big FU, to the system and to the process. So I just think you're really limiting your jury pool.
Yeah, I mean, it's, to me, I don't know how I'm going to show my age here, but it wasn't okay, Tiny Dancer. I see you. We'll pause the show for you. I'm going to go ahead and look at what comment was deleted. Or maybe one of my moderators can tell me, because I don't think one of my moderators would delete your comment for no reason. So let's have a look-see, huh? Give me a second. I got to pull up my thing.
Sarah, my opinions are always welcome. I know everything, Senator.
I mean, come on. Why is it not opening for me? Let's see. Anyways, let's continue with the show. I'll make an effort to go have a look at your deleted comment. Tiny Dancer's here. Oh, Tiny Dancer, do you have Emmy blocked? Because if you do, I gotta block you because she's my managing moderator. Sorry, bud.
If you tell them they're going to be sequestered for 3 months.
Yeah, no, fair. And he said today too, well, if we end up sequestering, we're going to go much longer than 345. Actually, this judge, Judge Hippler, like, he means business. Like, he is a...
My mod says the only comment I deleted... let's see. The only comment I deleted was the one that's... let's see... Yeah, so no, I don't know what you're talking about, Tiny Dancer.
strict, intense man, compared to Judge in Moscow, who just seemed like a nice guy. And like, I saw him outside the courthouse. Hey, buddy, this guy is like, I mean, you don't break the rules. He went through a whole day of rules today. He told the attorneys, you will address each other as Mr. and Miss throughout the trial. And I know that this is going to get tense. It's 3 months, but you won't forget.
That's wild. I mean, and how cool is that? Like, the judge is going to force them to be polite to one another. That's incredible. We need more of that in this world.
get, and you will be polite and you will say Mr. and Miss for the full 3 months. He said if you turn the lights off to use the overhead projector, you're not going to turn the lights back on because that's distracting. So you have to make a decision. Do you want the lights off for the day or for a while, or do you want the lights on? Like, that's how detailed he was. The seating,
nuts.
I mean, the seating, he wants like an exact seating chart and how, I mean, so this guy is not playing around. That's why when people are like, oh, do you think the trial's going to get delayed? Like, no, it's not getting delayed. This man is like, he is sticking to the schedule.
Well, I get it, but it's death penalty and it's complicated.
I think the Ashley and Brian disagree a little bit on this. Tiny Dancer, do you have an alter comment? None of your comments were deleted. That's just a fact. I mean, I don't know what is going on here. But good morning, Yvette. Good morning, Truth Seeker. Did I miss anyone else? Marcos Clips is watching.
Sorry.
Bless you.
Sorry. No, it's just like I got a cough, of course. Sorry.
My throat's been giving me a hard time too. I woke up, my throat felt 1,000 times better today, though.
I should quit smoking. I lit a cigarette up, took a drag, and I was like, oh, so we'll be putting that out.
Let's see here. All right, let's get back into it. Hope everybody's happy out there, happy and healthy. Hey, look at it this way: we're alive, so at least there's that.
And you can't just be a stickler for scheduling if there are legitimate issues that come up in a death penalty case. Period. End of sentence. You know, you don't want a mistrial based on something you screwed up because you rushed to the courthouse. You don't want a mistrial because you screwed up and you didn't take precaution to make sure that it wouldn't be an appellate issue later, which throws out your long sought after trial result. You think that people are going to be poisoned by Dateline? Wait until you have a mistrial and a retrial. Like, ask the Karen Reed jurors and lawyers and judge how frustrating it is for them, you know, to have a retrial based on a trial that was, you know, completely played out already in the public.
Yeah.
So, you know, I love the fact that he's a stickler for rules. It's great. But he also has to know.
I'm muted. I never watch these mainstream. I mean, of course, Brian Enton, when he's in the field, I like to watch those interviews and things he does. But I never watch Ashley Banfield. Last night, it must have been 1 a.m. when I watched this, and I thought to myself, "What the fuck is happening to me?" I'm like, I'm agreeing with Ashley Banfield. Like, let's face it, she is a tragedy pimp. But I mean, she's so knowledgeable.
Oh, for sure. Well, you know, in mainstream media, ever since the Karen Reed, the first trial, the mainstream media is just dead to me. You know, like it's all junk. You know, I just can't even. Independent journalism is where it's at, man. It really is. Got to find your credible people and and go with it.
Exactly. And speaking of independent journalists, I wanted to speak on something, but I'll just do it briefly. Something else the BHB haphazardly got correct. The Constitution clearly states that any one of us is a journalist if we're investigating something. And that's just what it is. All you have to do to be a journalist is say, I'm a journalist. I know that sucks because you open the door to irresponsible people coming in and shitting on a situation or a case.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean you're a good journalist.
No, it doesn't mean that you're professionally, right. You don't have any accreditations or, any of that. But the fact is, any one of us has exactly the same access and rights as Brian Enton does. And that's just a fact. I mean, and it has to be that way. That's what makes our country what it is.
Right. And it doesn't necessarily make you media. You know, no. I mean, there's differences, sometimes things get conflated, like people mistake one for the other, but it's, I
mean, you can't garner the same access often to things if you don't have a press pass.
Right. Exactly.
But also anyone can get a press pass. You and I both can apply for access to the court to watch the trial. I already have, in fact. There's going to be a huge overflow.
I'm laughing. Sorry, I'm still coughing. I'm laughing at Queen Moment.
I'm looking for it. Irish is choking death And inner and Sinner said, "Bless you." Well, I mean, she's states away, Queen Woman. What am I supposed to do? He says,
All
unfortunately,
right.
this is going to cost so much money. The extra cost of sequestering is not. It's minimal at best. I mean, so yeah, what with the jury? I mean, that's almost a whole floor of a Best Western extended, or Best Extended Stay America hotel or something.
Yeah, it's a whole floor. They're gonna have to, yeah. And and I gotta kind of agree with Ash. I mean, I don't know if Brian Etten's saying, I mean, at least I was the judge is saying no, delays, blah blah blah. But I'd rather get it right the first time around. But if you've looked into this judge, and if he feels there needs to be a delay, then he will delay it in the name of justice, is what I'm getting. So
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you so much, Queen Moomin, for the 10 GBP. I think what is that? Is that Guernsey British pound? I always ask you if that's Guernsey, because I know there's weird things with, like, Guernsey has its own money, and it's one of the islands there. Guernsey and Jersey, British Channel Islands.
UK pounds, rapper says. So,
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah. The G throws me off too.
I did have the opportunity to visit Guernsey, and it's UK pounds. Okay, and I did ask before. Sorry, I didn't wait around for the answer. Like, that's what I do sometimes when I'm live. I'll start a conversation and then not resolve anything. My bad. UK pounds. Wow. Nope, not today. Says cameras and TV coverage is popping up in appeals. More and more judges are denying it. Yeah, it's a funny thing because it goes back to the Constitution. This process should be open to the public and no restrictions.
Right. Transparency in the government. I'm actually as corrupt as the Karen Reed judges, Judge Bev. I'm really surprised she didn't somehow find a way to ban the media. I'm like amazed.
It's
because
a disaster.
Because buffoonery is, the world is watching, they're just, it just shows how untouchable they really feel,
Yeah. What a money drain that whole situation is for everyone involved.
Well,
I'm to the opinion that she's innocent, but I mean,
yeah,
what do I know?
well, I know a lot, and she's innocent, and there's undisputable facts about it, but her bills are at the beginning of this trial were $5 million, and her attorneys aren't even taking payment from her. These are experts and housing and all that kind of stuff. So it's ridiculous. That's just what the defense. Imagine the state.
I know. What a disaster.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it's any indication of who's innocent or guilty, just go opposite of whatever little Timmy says. So that's
there you go. There you go.
True Seeker says, I'm trying. If everyone could take a moment and subscribe to True Seeker, and if you're the praying type, keep her in your prayers. She's going through some stuff, and we're all concerned for her, and we all care. So show her some love.
5 days no smoking though, so that's amazing.
It's a good start.
First couple weeks are hard. Get through that, and you'll be good.
Yeah, I'm lucky it never took hold. The nicotine stuff. All right, let's watch a little more.
There's a death penalty at stake here, so he's just got to accommodate for all of the possibilities. And I really believe, honestly, Brian and Taylor has thrown in motion after motion that I thought was nuts. And I don't think this one would be nuts if she said that Dateline has poisoned this pool. I want this evidence pulled from the trial. I would not be surprised.
Yeah, I won't be surprised either, but I would be surprised.
It's still morning here for me. I just wanted to make sure I did say thank you to Queen Moomin for that £10. I appreciate it so much. I'll play you something once we get through this.
If he threw it out this late in the game, and it's important stuff. I mean, it seems, critical to the case.
You don't think it might push the start date though, from the 11th of
I
August?
don't. I really don't. I'm telling you the way that he is just he is crossing his I's and crossing his T's, dotting it out. I don't know. And the way that
I'm not sure where bitch ass B Tim stands on this, Zoe. I was just saying in general, he's like 0-6 when it comes to his predictions for rulings and
Right.
cases.
Right.
I mean,
He was even
remember,
wrong about Betty.
Yeah. Remember, he's the little punk bitch that took off of work to celebrate Betty going to jail, and it never happened. So, what a weirdo.
they talked today about, he wants to know where the witnesses are staying, what hotels. He wants to know where the lawyers are staying, because he's going to have the hotel on standby in case
Lockdown.
he has to
Yeah.
sequester, and then with the Airbnbs where the victims are staying. Like, I just don't see them setting all of that up. And you're right. I mean, if a legitimate issue comes up, the law's the law, but he wants to, I mean, they've already, what days he's going to have off, he announced today in the 3 months. Like, he's got it figured out.
I wish he took my summer schedule into
I know.
account.
I
Right.
brought that to him during the lunch break. I said, she
Ashley's
really
annoyed.
likes to go to Canada. No,
Okay, the other thing is, one of the things he did today to try to accommodate for the Dateline issues, he decided on 2 additional alternates.
He did. So in court, he never mentioned Dateline in court, but you could tell he was annoyed about leaks, and he talked about a special prosecutor possibly coming on to investigate what happened. But then he said, he was talking about jurors, and he said, I want to add 2 more alternates because of what happened on Friday, which Friday was the Dateline episode. And it didn't really click with me at first. Like, I was kind of,
Yeah, I mean, it could have been anybody that leaked information. It could have been anybody from a legal clerk. My gut tells me it's probably someone in Idaho, one of the local authorities there in Moscow, or Moscow, whatever, however you say it. I do believe that's where it came from. Although, if it was a conversation that wasn't recorded or narrated, then could be anybody.
Yep. Yep. And most lawyers are, or most people in law enforcement are smart enough not to leave a digital. Well, I would hope they would be smart enough not to leave a digital trail. If you're going to leak this explosive shit, you don't leave it. I mean, how can you not know that stuff? But there are plenty of stupid people out there, so we'll find out.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And also something that popped in my head in watching this last night or early this morning is, in a situation like this, how difficult is it for them to weed out jurors that are too eager to be in the jury? That is to say,
if
there
they're
may
too
be people out
eager,
there
yeah.
finessing the system to try to get picked as a juror. That's
There's tons of people that want to be picked, especially, tons of people are going to want to be picked, and they know how to weed them out. They know how to weed them out real easy for the most part, So
Ninja
Putin.
walking through the house as Putin. You just never know, right? I really enjoyed Ninja. I watched your video just before I started my live stream, and I very much enjoyed it. I was considering showing a piece of it towards the end, if you don't mind. Ninja has a beautiful patio with all kinds of beautiful plants. She's living the best life. Not her best life. She's living the best life. So cool.
Yeah.
It was nice to wake up to a pleasant video like that.
KCG says she's not sure what she's hearing, but it's really scratching her earbuds. Is it with me or Sinner? Or is it I don't know. Anyone else hear anything? Okay. If anyone else hears anything, let us know.
It sounds good on my end, but yeah, let
Sounds
me know.
Good to me, yeah.
It could just be my crude, crass voice.
kind of like, what is he talking? And then I thought about it, and I'm like, oh, he's talking about Dateline. Like, he's thinking they need even more of a backup because all this information got out.
In my many, many decades of being a reporter, I have seen my fair share of, preservation of documents requests, right? You basically get an email from your boss says don't delete anything. A lawyer has just notified us that we may be sued over a story, so don't delete anything. You're not allowed to delete. The other side has said don't you delete anything because we're going to subpoena emails, etc. And it sounds to me like a request, to preserve digital information went out to everybody, the police, the prosecutors, everybody. They all have to preserve their emails, their communications with outside agencies because they want to ferret out.
Welcome in, Michael. Thanks for being here. Good to see you again, man. Or no, sorry, wait. Yeah, welcome in. Is it Michelle or Michael? I always fucked it up. Anyways, welcome in. Michelle Vincent. I just call her Michael. What an asshole. That's what happens with me in morning streams. That's just going to happen. I'm getting a reputation for misgendering people. I'm going to get canceled. Sorry, Michelle. I got my glasses on now. I can see.
My bell. Michelle, my bell. You remember that now.
I had to put my glasses on, but I did it too late. I already embarrassed myself. Oh, well. Good to see you, Michelle. Thanks for being here.
Who leaked? Do you think, though, honestly, do you think they're going to find anybody in Idaho? Anybody with the Idaho system, prosecutors and police, that was the source of the leak?
I'm curious what you think. My personal opinion, I thought about this today, is I don't think they're going to figure it out. I mean, there's so many people that have been involved in this case since the beginning. Moscow PD. Remember, FBI set up their crime lab. They brought a whole truck and a whole little city into Moscow, and they were all there. There were all sorts of people. Idaho State Police. You've got Pennsylvania State Police from when he got arrested. So I don't know. I mean, are they really going to be able to track it down?
Hey, Green.
Oh, no.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I would tell you, I hope things go well, but damn. Okay. Thanks for being here for a little bit.
If you've lost someone, Green, we're very sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Green. That's not what I expected to read. But yeah. Shoot.
Oh, you can hear me breathing? I know. I'm okay. Let me try. I'll try and move my mic. Queen Moomin she's the audio police. So
fair enough. We got an audio tech in the house. I can't hear on my end. So thanks for letting us know.
Down with all those people. I don't know. I think it's.
What are you gonna do? Search Koberger?
You've had sources. It's like you're very careful to protect the people that are giving you information.
Absolutely. You would never email the stuff or text the stuff. You have a conversation. You meet in a garage, deep throat style. You don't. Nobody's dumb enough to. Well, I shouldn't say nobody's dumb enough, but typically.
Are you allowed to say deep throat on the internet? What is going on? I'm sorry to hear about your loss. Right. I'm sorry to hear about your loss, Green. We got your back.
Good sources wouldn't be emailing stuff to a journalist because they know that stuff's traceable. But it is just it is interesting that they're going to try to ferret this out because I'm thinking, okay, well, what does that do? You're spending a lot of time and treasure finding the source of the leak, which you likely never will. And then what?
Or maybe it's just to send a message. Do you think it's to send a message? Look, we got 3 months to go before this trial. Enough. But they've been so tight. I mean, I've been reporting on this. I've gotten to know so many. This is not a kind of case where it's been easy to get information. I mean,
it's been the worst.
It's hard. These people do not leak in Idaho. So I don't know. It's going to be tricky.
Yeah, is it ever? I don't think they're going to find the source because I think the source just said something and didn't write something. So preserve all the data that you want, all the emails and texts.
I just want to share that I got another notification from YouTube. I am working Team YouTube to the bone. I just got another. I'm not going to say which one it was, but I got another one.
Another one.
Thanks for contacting YouTube legal support. We would like to inform you that. Let's see. Hold on a second. What is the verbiage here? We're going to give the uploader a chance. Let's see. Hold on. Wrong one.
Okay.
Hello. Thanks again for contacting. The content that you reported has been removed by the uploader.
Beautiful.
Okay. So they were like, oh, not me. I'm just going to delete it. Good.
Yeah. Good. Was it just one thing or a channel?
It was a channel.
Nice.
They keep trying. Also, I'm proud to announce that once I got QB's alt taken down for impersonation, I waited a day and then I went ahead and now that's my @. So if you, I am now the proud owner of
Can you paint,
at.
brah?
Can
Can you even?
do you even paint, brah?
Do
Is
you
now,
even paint?
yes,
Oh,
that is now my channel, and that's going to be one of my alts. And what I'm going to do with that channel is make videos about famous artists. So Waka
that's
Waka,
beautiful. I love
yeah,
it.
yeah. And I got more tricks up my sleeve. We'll see.
No depends needed in Idaho. No
That you
leaks.
want. I don't think it's going to be in there. Okay, talk to me about this notion in court today where Judge Hippler looked at Brian Kohberger's lawyers and said, I get it, and I'm going to paraphrase here because this is not the judge's, choice words, but I get it. You want to point the finger at someone else to take the heat off of your client, the defendant, Brian Kohberger. You want to point to someone else being the killer. Well, we all know that you can't just walk into a courtroom and say, I didn't do it, Brian did it, because it ruins Brian's life. And if you're only just trying to deflect blame off yourself.
And good point. And that what she just said right there really rings true with us on YouTube. These making
Right.
accusations about the food truck guy or fucking the
Exactly.
DoorDasher and all of that. You can ruin these people's lives.
Yeah. It's a whole process to bring in like a third party culprit defense, because I was amazed that Karen Reed got a third party culprit defense. It's
it seems so odd to me, like truly odd.
yeah.
Self by ruining others, that ain't just. So you have a higher standard than that. And Judge Hippler has a standard for Brian Kohberger's lawyers. So first answer, if you would, Brian, how many alternate suspects are they talking about? One or plural? And then number two, how will we know if they're allowed to start pointing the finger at other people?
Yeah, so they call them alternative perpetrators. That's like the official language here in Idaho. And it's all part of the process. They had until the day before yesterday. They had till yesterday to, which would have been Wednesday, whenever people are listening to this, to file their motion. The defense did about who they believe the alternative perpetrators could be. They filed the motion, and I kept checking the site, kind of knowing that they were probably going to seal it. Because like you said, you're suddenly putting names out there of people who haven't officially been accused of anything. So they did file it. It came up in court today. The judge acknowledged that he got the filing and said that, I wrote this down, said he said to the defense, he wants evidence rather than allegations.
Oh, I just wanted to be clear in her reference. Her reference to Deep Throat. Deep Throat was the pseudonym given to the secret informant who provided information during Watergate. So that's the reference there.
Yeah, it's not the prawn Deep Throat.
Yeah, it's not the 1972 adult film. But yeah, it's strange because she's referencing something that's sort of of a day gone by. So people were like, "What did you say?" When I heard it, I giggled.
You have to be a certain age, or you have to know your history, American history, to understand that. So,
and Ashley, you're talking to a bunch of people that are younger and don't understand it.
Yeah,
they all giggled at you. I did.
Yeah.
So he didn't seem to think that it was a meaty enough motion and enough evidence there to say that these people who they believe could have done it that weren't Brian Kohberger, that there was really any evidence. And he said another hearing now for, I think it's June 18th. It's going to be a secret hearing where the defense can come back and say, here's more info. And ultimately, by the way, it's not like then they.
I'll pause it.
Did they deny it, or they must not have denied the motion if they're having another hearing about it. He gave them time to come back with more evidence.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I knew like the official start of a trial is actually jury selection. So it's the second they start deciding on jurors.
Yes.
The trial, but there's going to be this weird almost 2-month gap where the jury is already determined before the trial starts. How the fuck?
Really?
Yeah, how are they not going to be biased? I'm so confused. It just.
Wow. So they're going to pick a jury, and then 2 months down the road is the trial?
That's how it seems to me. I think they talk about it here. Let's see.
They go arrest these people. They're just trying to be able to bring it up in trial.
Yeah, and create
Yeah.
reasonable doubt. Could have been somebody else. Could have
Right.
been Dave, could have been Mike, could have been Sarah. I'm making those names up, of course. So,
Some other dude.
So here's the thing. I was trying to go back through
She said it might
as
have been
much of the
Sarah.
evidence.
Sarah, is that you in chat? Are you a suspect? You look like you might be a suspect. Did he say Sarah? Sarah, what have you done?
What did you do?
As I could remember in the last 2.5 years, because I feel like I have forgotten more than I remember at this point. And I remember there was evidence of some kind of a blood speck on the hand railing of the staircase inside the home. And it wasn't blood of any of the roommates. So I wondered if that is a basis for one of Ann Taylor's suppositions that whomever had a blood speck on that hand railing could have also been the killer. But it's the hand railing from the bottom floor all the way to the second floor.
It's possible, and I don't know.
Welcome in, Lunatic Farmer, and who else came in here? Patricia Burns. Thanks so much for being here, guys.
From what I understand, there's specific names that they've come up with. So it's not just like a theory of like, oh, it could have been someone because of this. They're naming names is what I have heard.
Well, could the defense have tested that blood and done a genealogical study
Yeah.
and found the owner of it?
Maybe, yeah. But remember, again, we talked about this when that happened, but it's a party house. There are a lot of people going in and out.
Yeah.
But if you think back, and I don't want
Anyone.
to name any names because we've never had any.
I can't imagine. I mean, if they in my house in college, the one
A
that
speck of blood.
Rebecca's trying to knock
Yeah.
on the door of, if they try to get DNA in that house, my goodness.
Right?
There's probably
I
still-
mean,
my DNA is probably still in that house from 17 years ago.
yeah, if it's a speck of blood, that's crazy. Judge ain't gonna allow that.
No, I don't think so either.
I doubt it.
No, I mean,
If he's worth
if it's-
anything.
if the way he's been laying things out are any indication, then yeah, that's not going to fly.
Reason to believe that anyone else was responsible. But there were a lot of names that came up in the beginning when you and I were covering this before they arrested Brian Koberger.
Food truck guy? Remember
Yeah,
that?
yeah. So they're probably going back through all of that stuff, I would imagine.
Okay. How about the glove? There was a mystery glove that was found outside the home,
Welcome in, Salty. Good to see you.
I believe, as well, that
Yeah.
the defense made hay of. Maybe the owner of that glove?
Yeah, but think back, and again, he's innocent until proven guilty. I don't want to be like, saying whatever. We got to be fair. But I mean, Brian Koberger also likes to wear gloves. I mean, that's come out. He's a germaphobe. So I always thought about that with that glove too.
Well, I'm sure we're not going to find out unless it becomes public record and they
Wait,
are allowed
is
to
that
bring
the
it up
one-
at trial, because these
Yeah.
things will be in a secret hearing, like you said.
Is that where Chris McDonough found
Yes.
a glove?
I believe so.
Is that the glove?
Well, I mean, unless there's another glove that we're not,
Okay.
we don't know about.
All right.
But like Brian Etten says right here, well, we already know that Koberger was a glovey type
Yeah.
of dude.
A glovey guy.
He's a glovey guy. And Sarah's back in the house.
In June, and if the judge says sorry, you don't have anywhere near the kind of supportive evidence to bring up that, assert that in a court of law and ruin those people or that person's life.
Yeah, which
Forget
is
it.
fair,
Yeah, and that, I guess that would stay sealed. Maybe after, if there's a conviction of Brian Koberger, maybe after they would unseal that and say this is what the defense was trying, but we know we've got our guy. I mean, I
Yeah.
can imagine that.
Possible, yeah.
Okay, the other thing that I was fascinated by, and I don't know quite how I feel about it. I'm trying to put my emotions in check.
Yeah, curious. I'm with you on that. Possibly planted it in reference to the glove. If it is the same glove that McDonough found, then we got a problem, because that shouldn't. I mean, come on. I mean, unless it has Koberger's DNA in it. I mean, it could, for all we know. But I don't know if you guys followed that shit. when McDonough went out there with his wife, I believe, and he was like, "Oh, I found a glove here." Okay, dude. That reminds me of the newscaster from Santa Barbara when I lived down there. He was at he was always at the beginning of a fire. Fires are always a problem for Santa Barbara with the mountains.
Oh.
He was already always there. So that's when I was still doing graffiti and I was doing like stenciling and stuff like that. So we started a whole street art movement that John Palminteri is the arsonist. It was pretty funny. Of course, it was a joke. But I mean, he would be reporting and there'd be a real fire behind him. And he'd be like,
"Oh, right."
He's like, "John, we'll put the fucking fire. I'll put your microphone down. Put the fire out. What are you doing?"
I remember you telling us about the
So
little fire in the background. Yeah.
Old John Palminteri. And John Palminteri, the funny thing about that guy, he was like the guy about town. You'd find him like doing shots with the mayor in the bar at lunchtime. Like Santa Barbara is a weird place. I can't wait to get back there. And Buzzy's down there having imaginary people knock on doors in Santa Barbara. I have to tell you again, Buzzy, I'm in Pismo Beach. It's not a very big town if you're looking for me.
But Bethany and Dylan, the surviving roommates, have just been.
KCG, they weren't clear as to what glove they're talking about. They're just saying a glove. So we don't know for sure if it's the glove that McDonough found. I don't know if you remember that, but he did. Like out by the mailbox in the snow, it was wet. And he was like, "Oh, it's in there." How did the cops miss it? Great question. Did they miss it? Was it planted? Was it just some asshole that, had too many drinks at the frat house and stumbled back to their house and lost the glove? Lord knows I've done that. I don't know.
So assailed online by trolls and just ne'er-do-wells and just bottom of the barrel scum who've attacked these victims as being somehow, I don't know, complicit or a part of it, whatever it is. It's just garbage. And obviously that's very hard for them.
She's talking about us in this part, in case anybody is wondering. I'm going to go back a couple seconds.
Right.
Not me and you, but like us in general, like YouTubers and
Right.
social media.
Right.
Scum who've attacked these victims as being somehow, I don't know, complicit or a part of it, whatever it is. It's just garbage. And obviously that's very hard for them. And the judge has agreed to limit our ability as the public to witness their testimony. Tell me what the judge decided when it comes to.
This is actually a really big deal that the judge did this. It's not normal for a judge to do this. Again, because the process is supposed to be so open and so transparent.
Right.
To Dylan and Bethany if when they take the stand.
So he said that their portions will not be on the live stream. So you will not be able to see them unless you're in the courtroom. But the audio feed for them will continue to go out. So you'll be able to hear their testimony if you're watching at your house or you're watching in the overflow room, but you will not be able to see them. He also.
That's understandable to me. I mean,
I think so too. But strange circle. What a strange decision.
Well, they do the
they're
same.
not minors. They're adults. They
Right.
should have, so
But
I can see
it's
both sides of it.
But it doesn't limit the defendant to face his accusers. So, it's I really don't see the judge doesn't have to allow media in. It could be an open courtroom, but he doesn't have to allow media in,
No,
so
the cameras don't have to be there. Yeah, neither does the audio at all. He doesn't have to do any of that.
Exactly. So I don't really see an issue with it, and I find it actually kind of compassionate of him, so
I think that's absolutely his intent. But here's my question on that. What if is he going to offer the same grace to another witness if they don't want to be on camera? It's really like he's making special circumstances for them, which I agree with. Don't misunderstand me. I do think that they are victims in this. So
that's a good point, though. Other witnesses don't want to be identifiable, but it's you got to draw. They weren't in that house, though. So I guess, and it's a judge's court. So
I have a crazy hypothetical, and I'm not saying at all that this is what happened there. But if someone mentioned this to me, they were just like, "Do you think?" And this is a stretch, and I'm not going to say that they were doing drugs or anything like that. But is it possible that they had had a couple mushroom caps and they were hallucinating or something? Maybe that's why they were so afraid and stayed in their room. Because I don't know if you guys have ever done mushrooms before, but that shit will definitely make you hide in your room if you don't know what's going on.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've gotten that way off weed.
And I'm not making accusations to them. I mean, nothing like this has ever been spoken about. I really just sat and thought deeply about what would cause me to stay in a room. And I'm not judging their actions at all, because I don't fucking know what I would do in that situation.
Right.
Then I thought, what would make me stay in that room? You know, what would make me?
It's
what would make me call my friend down the
possible.
hall and have them, and we're huddled together in a room? I mean,
Right.
anything's possible, and I'm definitely not making accusations. I'm just thinking, what, you know, a college kid, what would make them
could
do that?
definitely do it. That could definitely do it. You know,
And, I mean,
you know, even acid or whatever. You know, I mean, you never know. But
well,
you
they said
know,
it was
it's
a party house, you know, so
yeah, it's a party house, and you know, I just think that there's a lot, I'm sure, we do not know. You know, I tend to forget that. It's like, well, we don't know we don't know all the evidence. We don't know all the communications. We don't, you know, I heard all the communications we saw were only partial
exactly.
communications. You know, I mean, there could be I mean, it's all out of context. So we'll not know until the trial happens.
Exactly. But I mean, with all that said, I am very happy that the judge is treating them as though they're victims and protecting them
Yeah.
as much as possible.
Right.
He's going to have 2 seats in the courtroom for them too if they want to watch. They cover it though. I don't want to get ahead.
Yeah.
Also said that he is going to reserve 2 seats in the courtroom
How's
for
that
them.
for timing?
He considers them to be victims,
Wow.
and if they choose to attend the trial one day or for the whole thing, he's going to make sure that there are 2 seats reserved for them. And
So
also,
they
sorry.
even before they testify, they're going to be allowed in the
They
court.
didn't mention that. That's a good question, because a lot of times, obviously, they don't want witnesses in the courtroom before they testify. They didn't bring that up, but he said that he's going to have 2 seats for them, and it was kind of interesting. So they got through that, and then the defense spoke up and said, "Oh, but we have people that we also want the video cut for, like people who worked with Brian."
See, I didn't remember that part, but that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, okay, well, if they don't have to be on camera, I don't want to be on camera. I could see it causing
Right.
hopefully it doesn't cause, because look, it could also cause a problem
But
with
people,
the outcome of the trial, right? I mean, if these two ladies are being treated
it's
differently than
prejudicial.
all the
It could be seen as prejudicial, you know. So
yeah, I think so.
gotta
I
be
mean,
careful.
because the jurors are going to be sitting there and they're going to be aware of the fact that there's something special about these two, that they're not having to do what everyone else has to do.
Right.
So I definitely see both sides of it, and I guess we have to wait and see. Patricia says, "Sinner, it takes all the difference. If one is very frightened, it's near impossible to resist the adrenaline-filled fight or flight or freeze instinct." I understand that, but I mean, I've been in situations where it was fight or flight, and I've been in situations where I froze and I wasn't, you know, for hours, I just don't understand it. That's what leads me to believe that there's something we don't know. Of course, I could be fucking wrong. I'm giving a theory of what's possible. Party house, college kids, anything's possible. I'm not judging them at all. I mean, whatever they did that night was the right thing to do to stay alive. So they're survivors, and they are
Exactly.
Ryan Koberger, and then maybe undercover officers. And it was interesting. The judge was not very open to that. He said,
Good.
"I'm not going
This
down."
This is a public process. Unless you're a minor.
You would have loved. I actually thought of you when he said this, Ashley.
What?
I'm not going to quote him directly, but he said something like, when they started making those requests, look, the only way the public is going to trust this verdict and believe in this verdict is if they feel like they've been able to watch the process.
Yeah.
Which
good.
I really believe too, So, but it was just interesting because Ann Taylor immediately was like, "Oh, we got this person and this," what I mean? He was just like, "You can
Not
make a
having it.
filing," but he's like, I don't want to do that.
Look, it is. I do fully respect the fact that Dylan and Bethany
I'm telling you guys, don't look her in the eyes. You'll get Banfield. She'll get you. Don't look at. She's like Medusa.
have just had the boots taken to them, and they are victims. I mean, they will never be the same. They are damaged for life by what they've been through.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about the survivor's guilt. I mean, I'm just talking about the hell that the internet has put them through, the hell that they've witnessed, the hell that they've lived through, But I am a big proponent of an open process and of witnesses taking the stand and saying in open court so that we can see them and trust in what they're saying, what their truth is, right?
Yeah.
Look, you know how we're all animals, us people. We have instincts. How many times have you said, look me in my eye?
We're all animals. I agree with that, Ashley. Some of us are more intense animals than others. Not going to say any names. You still there, Irish? Oh, maybe I lost her.
Yeah, no, I'm here.
Okay, cool.
I'm here. I was just muted.
My eyes and tell me
Okay, cool.
that. Because that's how we determine truthfulness. We look for tells, we look for gut instinct, we look for all those things. It's no different on the stand. It's why you take the stand facing everybody, so that we as the public can understand if we believe you're telling the truth.
I totally agree with her here, but I see the other side of it too. My only concern about what the judge is doing with the two girls in particular is separating them from a typical witness. All the other witnesses are going to have to be on camera. It's tough. It's really tough to say. But again, like I said at the beginning, I have full confidence in this judge. I looked at some of his old rulings and some of his old casings, and he's a consummate professional. He's just good at what he does. Brenda Sue's in the house. What's going on? We got 62 likes. If you guys could please, let's get it to 100 likes, guys. You rock.
The truth or not, right? So I do have a problem that for that reason they're going to hide Dylan and Bethany from the public. I do understand the reason, but I also say they're not minors, they're adults, and they're important to the process. They are important to the possibility that a man may lose his life.
Well,
over
but
what
at
they
the
say.
end of the day, the jury is going to be able to be sitting right there and see them, and they're the ones who are going to make the decision. So I guess that's probably what's most important. But it is a slippery slope, I think.
I have great respect for juries, but I believe that we have the right to keep an eye on things, a la O.J. Simpson case, that jury and what they did and what we discovered 30 years later, that they wanted to, get one for Rodney King. I mean, that's the kind of thing where the rest of us have a vested interest and we have a right to be in there. We're paying the process. It's our process. It's a government for the people.
Yeah.
And the court is part of that. So anyway, I'll go off on the soapbox forever about that. I also heard somewhere, and I don't know where Judge Hippler came in
Pookie's in the house. Good morning, Pookie. Hope you're well.
on this, that at one point he was going to allow Dylan and Bethany to dictate whether or not they should be live streamed. Like if fine, they can be on, but if they decide no, then they won't. Did that go out the window?
No, he didn't say that. He just said that he made the decision that they weren't going to be on, that it was just going to be audio. The thing he was leaving up to them was whether they wanted to take the 2 seats. That part he just didn't seem to know the answer to.
So today was supposed to be the last.
Well, hopefully I didn't talk over that. So basically what the judge decided, I'm sure maybe you guys caught that and I'm being aloof, but not only is he not going to force them to be on camera, he's going to have them off camera and only the audio broadcast, but he's also going to give these 2 witnesses / victims a seat in the gallery of the courtroom, which is also abnormal. So it's because it's so complicated. I don't know how it's normally done, but that
Well,
seems
it's not abnormal unless they're allowed to be there before they testify. You
well,
know,
yeah. Of course, you can't have a witness sit there and listen to all the other testimony. It's going to form what they say.
because
Good call, but-
because otherwise victims are you generally behind the prosecution or wherever in the courtroom. I mean that's common.
Oh, KCG, you're hilarious. The rumor is our KCG and cheese are a thing, but this is the best comment ever. I got to be honest. I think it's like a 2-for-1 because now if I'm in a relationship with cheese, I also got to get to be with Narcos. We're in a relationship with Narcos. It's an
Sweet.
accidental threesome.
Sinner's my new husband, y'all, too. Just so you know.
Fun. It's so funny. Oh yeah, I heard that too.
Oh, you heard that?
Yeah. Well, no, I heard.
Oh,
Irish got the hots for old Cinny.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here, man.
And then you were called gay, GHEY, gay.
You're gay, dude.
And I said, yeah. And I said, I would love a husband because so that'll be the next thing. You wait.
That's funny.
Sinner's my husband.
Ninja Orchid says Banfield admitted that she will do whatever it takes to get intel despite a gag order. Oh yeah, we are journalists. That is what we do. Perhaps keep that to yourself. It's not a flex. I know. She's like, I will be unscrupulous to get the information. Brenda Sue says, I can't believe QP is saying now that you made up a story that someone's putting it on a diaper and going to your house. I mean, no. I mean, yeah. I mean, look, you can't trust the word of someone who's destroyed their existence with narcotics and mystery smoke. Like, really, that's what it boils down to. Someone that's that violent and stupid, you can't take their word on anything. Literally, Davis fam drove 400 plus miles from her house in Ohio to where my family is in southwestern Pennsylvania. That's a fact. Whether she put a diaper on or not,
thing that's to be determined maybe someday.
Yeah, so I mean,
she'll never tell. She'll never tell.
Well, I mean, Miss Turner over there is such a broken-souled person that she actually flipped the story and said, "I put a diaper on and drove to Davis Fams." No, bitch.
Yeah,
you can't just flip a story like that.
In your non-existent car that that because you don't drive, you don't have a car, so
I mean,
makes perfect sense.
And sometimes you just gotta laugh at these fucking fools because they're
I do it every day.
God, so bad.
I do it every day.
Hearing before trial, which I thought was weird because trial is still 2 months away. I mean, jury selection begins. So today was supposed to be the last hearing before trial, which I thought was weird because trial is still 2 months away. I mean, jury selection begins, I think, on the 30th. I think it's a Wednesday, and it starts on that Wednesday, the 30th. It was supposed to start on the 29th, but I heard it moved today to the 30th. Don't know why. And then jury selection's expected to take a couple weeks with trial testimony beginning on Monday, August 11th, right? That's the schedule so far?
Wait.
Yeah.
So how
I
on
was
earth?
confused about it first, by the way. Like, have you heard of that? Like, I always thought jury selection started with the first day of the trial.
Well,
Like, I've
technically,
never
the first
seen
day of
it as
trial is
totally
literally the first day of trial technically is jury selection, right?
Right.
So when you say the trial begins, it really
Right.
should be the jury selection. But most of us refer to the trial began when Cassie
Welcome in, Reality Wins. Thanks so much for being here.
Hey, reality.
stand, or like the very first witness or something like that. And she wasn't the first witness, but and so the evidentiary phase of the trial begins on August 11th, where you start getting witnesses, you start seeing exhibits, you start seeing evidence, etc. You get the openings, but jury selection's 2 weeks prior to that. I just don't understand how we're at the why they would announce this as the
2
last
weeks.
hearing, because we've got all sorts of issues to sort out before then.
The way I think that came about is because it was the last hearing on the docket and all the media was just seeing it as the last thing before. There was nothing else scheduled before today. So it became kind of a headline, like the last hearing before. Whereas today they've already scheduled another hearing for June and there's probably going to be another hearing, So I think that it seemed like the last because it was the only one posted,
Yeah. No, I sense that we're going to have, I really do think that Ann Taylor's going to lodge a complaint, file a motion to have that evidence that was elicited in the Dateline episode thrown from the case. But I'm with you. It would be a travesty to see that.
I don't think he's going to do it. Just what I've seen from the judge so far. I mean, he's doesn't want new suspects entered without them being vetted properly. I mean, you can't have a parallel trial. You can't be trying someone for a crime and then entering other suspects into it. That's just bizarre. I'm just happy that the trial moved and got a new judge, because that first judge was he just seemed like he was fucking annoyed to be there.
A lot of them
that
are.
kind of evidence thrown out just because jurors got to look at stuff. I mean, plenty of cases have gone to air with a lot more.
I mean, there's no gag order. They see all sort. I mean, I guess I just don't really follow the. I mean, like, again, will it make jury selection harder? Yes.
Brenda Sue, I didn't have a chance to see that. I was at the first live and then she ended. I didn't. I guess she went live again. I'll have to check it out.
But I don't follow the argument of just throwing it out.
Me neither. But then again, it is death penalty, and when you've got a case like that, the stakes are really high and things change. And then the other thing is, not everybody understands this, but it's not just picking a jury; it's picking something called a death qualified jury. So in Diddy's case, you heard all the the voir dire and everything in Diddy's case, and it took forever to get that jury seated, and that was not a death qualified jury. You're just trying to get biases and personal histories and background and all the rest, right?
Yeah.
You do all that in Kohberger, and you've got to have a death qualified specialist on your team who knows how to elicit from a potential juror if they can condemn a man to death. I mean, it really truly is like, can you look across at a living, breathing person 10 feet away from you and say, thumbs down, he dies? And they have to be able to do that.
Yeah. And it was interesting, like what you just said made me think of this.
Hey, Cinderelli, thanks so much for being here.
Today, I've seen Brian Kohberger a lot of times, like starting out in Pennsylvania when they made the arrest, and then saw him when he got off the plane in Moscow, and then went to the hearings in Moscow where you're super close to him, and then have been seeing him in Boise. Moscow, I was so close to him. Here, you're still maybe like 10 feet away. But I've noticed, like, he's got Ann Taylor, who's, a female attorney, and then he has two other female attorneys, and they sit on each side of him, and they get very close to him, like almost whisper in his ear. He whispers back. They don't want us to hear what's going on. Before the judge came in, there's a little bit of smiling. They're clearly making a little joke with him or something. And it was just a weird thing to think of him, what he's been accused of, and you're thinking of, gosh, this man could be capable of this. And then like sort of seeing him in these just human, normal moments with these women who are sort of like humanizing him and just treating him like any other guy on the street. And just,
I don't know if you guys have been watching these hearings, but I agree with Brian here. It seems almost flirty what's going on with the ladies on his team, Brian Kohberger's lawyers. It's weird. They're leaning in, they're smiling, they're laughing. It's fucking bizarre. I don't know what to make of it.
Just when you said the death penalty thing, it made me think of it like, I don't know if they do that by design. Like, I know there's not a jury in there yet, but like, is that part of
sort of
making you feel like this is just any other guy?
Absolutely. It's why they're not supposed to be wearing jailhouse jumpsuits into court now, because it just makes them look like criminals right away. I'll tell you something. I have always gotten skeeved out by that, because I know we give the presumption of innocence, but when you have overwhelming evidence.
Hold on. What did she say? She's always been what?
Skeeved. She said skeeved.
What the fuck is skeeved?
Skeeved? Like
Skeeved.
grossed out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, SKEE. Yeah. Skeeved.
I'm all about the new word, skeeved.
Yeah.
It sounds improper.
It's slang. It's slangy.
Gotcha.
It's very
There's
Jersey.
a Dahmer or there's a Charles Manson at defense table. You can't believe that anybody wants to get close to that filthy skin,
Yeah.
And in this particular,
a genuine little laughter and a genuine, like, if I was next to you and I leaned into you to tell you a little something and just we had our little moment, like that was happening, and it was weird. Like I can't help it. It felt weird, you know?
There's a great book that I think was written by Mickey Sherman, who defended Michael Skakel many, many years ago. I think he wrote a book called "How Do You Defend Those People?" And it's a question we all want to ask a defense lawyer. Like, you represent the scum of the earth, you know? You represent these guilty people. How do you do this? Like, especially when they're horrible people. And you've always got to come back to the Constitution and like how incredible this country is, that we instantly give you the benefit of the doubt and we prove that you're guilty.
I agree with Ashley on this one. It's absolutely vital to the fabric of our country all the way around.
And you don't have to like the person. You don't have to think they're innocent. You just have to guarantee that their rights are protected. Period.
Exactly. If he doesn't get a fair trial, whether you believe 1,000% that he's guilty, you still have to be supportive of due process. I mean, of course, sometimes that absolutely gets shit on. I mean, look at O.J. Simpson. The jury was the worst jury ever. In fact, I learned recently that the jury for the O.J. trial, there are notes that said they're trying to get one for what's his name, the poor gentleman that was beaten down by the cops that caused the riots, Rodney King.
Oh, Rodney King.
They were going to get some get back for Rodney King.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck?
And it was on the tails of the Menendez trial, I believe, too.
It was. Yep.
And
Here's my theory.
It was not because he wasn't guilty. It was very political, you know.
No, it was absolutely. It was orchestrated by the city of Los Angeles because they could not afford to have the city burn again like it did with Rodney King. And it's really that simple. And it's terrifying that a verdict in such an obvious, guilty trial. It's bizarre to me that it could be influenced by local politics or regional politics, as it were, or
even just it's not necessarily politics. I mean, like a social politic type of thing, more so than it's both. It's both. Yeah. I mean, it is both, but how people street talk and, talk about politics. You got to mind your politics on the street, like that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. You gotta do it's a societal thing, not a government thing, exactly. But it is both types of politics, definitely.
But I mean, even if it's like as you describe it, it still boils down to money. They couldn't afford to. They didn't have the resources. They weren't prepared to just fight liquor store fires all night long, like what happened with Rodney King.
Right.
Also, completely justified civil disobedience occurred. It wasn't just violence and destruction. There were people that were actually protesting the right way. They just got overshadowed by,
Right. So you can't have nice things,
exactly. Like most protests, there's always the agitators.
Yeah. Yep.
I dealt with that a lot in Minnesota when I was up there protesting the George Floyd stuff. We would be peaceful as shit, and then the group would just roll in drunk and
ruin it.
And it's just like, what the fuck, man? That's not what we're doing here.
Before we lock you away or we kill you, and so as a lawyer, you really have to believe in those principles, and maybe that's the principle that brings them to innocent until proven guilty, even when I'm standing right next to your skin that I may or may not believe. And perhaps
welcome in, Ronnie B. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, I was just going to say hi to him.
Casey Anthony's lawyers believe 100% that she is innocent. At least Cheney Mason does, right? Thinks she's a great girl. I don't believe she's innocent. I don't think she's guilty of what many of the prosecutors lined up in that courtroom, but I think
oh, reality, that's so cool. Reality says center. My dad is retired LAPD. He knows how corrupt LA was and still is. Oh yeah. That whole Rampart thing was such a blight on society. It's crazy. That's so cool, reality. So you have a great resource for questions.
It's got the history from the real deal. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a bit envious of that. It's always great to get information from those with the experience.
I think she's not. I think she's guilty of causing Kaylee's death. I just don't think she was a premeditated first-degree death penalty eligible murder. And so those lawyers were able to be very cozy with her, and maybe that's what Ann Taylor feels. But it's hard to look at some of the evidence and see how overwhelming it is. And I'm trying to imagine myself as Ann Taylor and be so snuggly and cozy and put on a really strong face.
Yeah.
Because already
Yeah.
he comes in at a disadvantage. Everybody knows that's
Bad look. It's a bad
Yeah,
look, man.
I gotta find out what this. I gotta find out what this guy's name is. He's my spirit animal involved in this trial right here. This guy, he's fucking rad. He seems like the kind of
Who's
guy.
that?
No bullshit. No bullshit.
Was he an arresting officer?
He was. He looked like he was just one of the. He looks like he's the CEO of whatever police department that is in PA.
Oh, okay. All right.
And this is back
I'm
in
gonna-
Pennsylvania.
This is in Pennsylvania. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
You could,
I'll
I mean,
go-
well,
I'll
what I know
Google
from my
it.
First Amendment auditing is he's what they call a white shirt. There he is with a white shirt on. You can see he's a lieutenant.
Okay.
So he's the boss. That's probably why his hair is thinning. It's a fucking stressful job.
It's the guy, you know?
Yeah, there was this point, I think it was a couple months ago, where she made this statement in court.
He's just got this "I wish a motherfucker would" look on his face, and I
Yeah.
where she said, like, Your Honor, he is innocent. She like made it almost very personal that she believed herself that he didn't do it. So yeah, I don't know. It was just, and I totally agree with everything you said, by the way. I mean, that's what's great about our country. My dad's a criminal lawyer. Like, I grew up with this stuff. Like, criminals are, they deserve a right to representation and innocent until proven guilty. But it's still weird when you're sitting there and
I don't know that I could do it.
Yeah.
I don't know that I could do it. I would enjoy the project. I would enjoy the project of defending someone because that's what we do as a society, and looking for everything. Because I did feel once, I'll give you this one anecdote. I did a story for Dateline when I worked for NBC, and it was about this cop in Rhode Island who was accused of killing his mistress, right? He's married, his wife is pregnant, they've got, I think, 2 or 3 other kids, and he's got a side hustle. And the woman who's the side hustle is found dead in her apartment. Her head is bashed in with a jewelry box. And in the apartment is a letter that she has written saying, I'm going to tell your wife. If you don't tell her, I'm going to tell her. And well, she shows up dead. And then he was a really bad cop. He was involved with a lot of bad cops that had sex in their cruisers. They were all cheating on their wives. They arrested him, and suddenly the tapes disappeared, and they gave him kid glove treatment and said nothing to see here. And
that's a lot like what happened with the Rampart division at LAPD too. They were just a gang. They were just a gang, nothing more, nothing less. Welcome in Amber E. Wise Angel is in the house. Thanks so much for being here. We're almost done with this. As you can see, there's just a few minutes left, and I'm going to show you a really good resource for anybody who's following the trial. There's one of the local channels there in Idaho is doing a fucking fantastic job, and I want to show you that real quick, and then we'll get into some more current events.
And the night of the murder, he had left a cop party for several hours and come back looking like a ghost. Everything pointed to him killing that woman. And he was convicted, and he exhausted all of his appeals, and he was going to be in prison, life, no parole. And Brian Enton, if you can believe this, a random carpenter walked into a police station off the sidewalk and said, I can't live with myself anymore.
That's crazy.
I'm the killer of that woman that you put that cop away.
Oh my
And
God.
that was my epiphany in this business, to say, don't for a minute think you got it figured out. Even when the evidence looks so overwhelming, there's always a chance, It may not look good. It may not look like it's too coinky dinky. But there is that chance that everything looks bad, but it wasn't him.
That's so crazy. Yeah, that's a good perspective. It's a good thing to remember.
It's the way we all really need to behave when we're covering these cases. There is always a chance, until it's irrefutable and you saw it with your own lion eyes.
Right.
It's my favorite when someone says, this is how we all need to behave. I mean, I don't disagree with her sentiment, but at the same time, it's like, oh, yes, ma'am, we'll do what you say. Marie says, that gave me chills thinking of Sandra Birchmore. Oh, yeah. Wise Angel says Banfield is turning into a coffin dodger. You know, I don't disagree with you. The only reason I played this is because it is informative.
Yeah,
and I,
you know
and
who's
I,
worse? You know who's worse though is Julie Grant. I just can't even with Julie
I'm not even
Grant on court
familiar.
TV.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, see, I never watch court TV. I just don't because I know it's so biased. You know, maybe not. I don't know. Coffin dodger. I call her coffin jumper. She's a
Coffin
fucking
Doper.
nut.
Coffin Doper is my favorite.
Coffin dilfer.
You can't know everything. So it's just one of those things. Okay, last thing, because I know I've kept you really long. What are your thoughts now as we're in this final stretch? Like we're getting there. We've waited so long. The families have waited so long. They're all very different. These victims' family members are all very different in how they approach this. But what are your thoughts as we get ready to really watch this play out in public?
Gosh, that's a really good question. I can't believe it's finally here. I guess I think of the families a lot about what this is going to be like for them. I don't think I've wrapped my mind around the 3-month thing. Like, I've never covered a trial for 3 months. I don't think I've wrapped that's a really long time. You know what I mean? Like, we just keep saying 3 months. So I think I'm still sort of processing that. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, to me, it almost doesn't feel real yet that it's actually, we've just been covering it for so long. I mean,
Welcome in, Maritza. I saw you up in here earlier too. Thanks for coming back. And everybody, please help me out. Hit the thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed, and if you'd like to become a member to the channel, memberships are available.
I think 3 months is short because
Do
it's
you?
4. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
tell you why. Phil Spector was, I think, 5, and OJ was 9, and yeah, I mean, and Casey's was 2, and I feel like there's 4 victims here, and there's so much digital evidence in this day and age. Just like we've heard, terabytes of digital evidence that has to be sorted through and dealt with. I also think that each murder has to be dealt with as well, and all of the evidence that's extraneous in that house. It was a party house. There are thousands of people who've walked in and out of that house over the years and left something behind, some trace, hair or dandruff or something. And so just trying to get all that sorted through.
Yeah.
That's not the same in your house. It's not the same in my house. But that house was different, unique, and bizarre. So I just feel like, yeah, 3 months, I feel like
Right.
that's quick.
well, you'll think this is interesting.
What are you talking? Okay, this is what makes her a tragedy pimp. This house was different and bizarre. No, it wasn't. It wasn't bizarre, Ashley. What the hell are you talking about? It was just a typical college house. Bizarre?
You're bizarre. You're bizarre,
It's
Ashley.
bizarre that you use the word bizarre, Ashley. Don't look her in the eye. Don't look her in the eye.
This came up in court today. They talked about it a lot. The prosecution has created an exact model of the house, like a replica, that's already in the courthouse. They said it's already in the Ada County courthouse.
Like a miniature?
Like a miniature, but I think it's kind of big the way they described it. And it's on a different floor, and we didn't see it, but the defense has already gone down and inspected it and has approved of it. And they called it the dollhouse a couple times in court. And then the prosecutor stood up, and even the judge
Yeah.
called it the dollhouse, which I did think
That's
was
weird.
fucking creepy, dude. Now that's
That's
creepy.
weird. Yeah,
Sensationalism
that's
at its best. Yeah, I mean, I just want everyone to know that, like, I mean, I'm not into the tragedy pimping thing. The reason I wanted to show you this is because it is so informative, and it's done really well. I mean, they're embellishing here
Yeah.
at the end, but the interview was good because they don't necessarily agree with one another, and it seemed as though they were bouncing, personal knowledge of how things work back and forth, and that's, I mean, to me, that's valuable. But I'm fully aware of what is happening, just for the record. Oh,
was kind of weird. And then the prosecutor was like, listen, I don't think we should call it the dollhouse anymore. I think we need to just
Absolutely.
call it the model based on what happened there. So and then they all agreed, like, yeah, we need to stop calling it the dollhouse. But so that was just kind of interesting. Like, so there's going to be like an exact model replica of the house. And then they even discussed that the defense didn't want it to stay in the courtroom at all times. So they agreed that they would wheel it out.
I'm still against them ripping the house down before the trial. I thought that was fucking
Yeah.
bananas. I'll
Yeah,
never
that
understand
is
it.
bananas.
I mean, why you don't need a
until
quote unquote dollhouse. You had the
if
house and
they
you ripped it down.
right, and it's very very informative for the jury to be able to see it.
Hey, Missy T. Missy T says calling a doll's house. I feel like it's disrespectful to people that lost their lives in that house. I totally agree with you. I mean,
Yep.
whoever fucking said that for the first time needs to check themselves. Like, good lord. Thanks for being here, KCG. I hope you have a good rest of your day. I mean, why did they tear the house down? It was boarded up. There was no need to. I understand that it was a blight on the neighborhood, but I mean,
Right.
justice for the victims is the ultimate goal here. Yeah. I mean, I'll never understand it.
And then wheel it in like when they need it.
I don't know how the jury's going to be able to see if it's the size of a dollhouse, and you're halfway across the courtroom. I don't know how you're
Yeah.
supposed to actually see the detail you need. I imagined that the way they were going to depict this house was through a digital tour, because those are very good nowadays, and that
Yeah.
would be very helpful. I'm still so upset that they took that house down. I think that this was the one case where, if is there any case out there, this is the one where the jury should have gone on a go-see. They really
Right,
should have.
agreed.
There's so much to Dylan's position when he's walking towards her, and then he's taking a right past her door, and then another right outside the kitchen doors.
Yeah.
That house took me through sleuthing online, real estate listings and photographs and testimony and affidavits. It took me weeks.
You know what, Ashley? I just came to the conclusion. You're a fucking real lifer. Waka waka.
to figure it out. It's
And
a
not
weird
just the
house.
Then even you and me on the phone the other night trying to figure out the new surveillance video. That area is a strange, weird area, packed in with college apartments and duplexes and triplexes and weird. It's weird because it's all little college kids living in all little alcoves.
Alcove at this house,
Yeah.
as everybody's seen the image with the parking lot out front, faces Queen,
Yeah.
not King. So everybody
King,
thinks
yeah.
it's 1122 King Road, but it actually faces Queen. And
That's right.
and King is like on the side that Xana's room was on. There's barely even a window that faces way out past other
Yeah.
houses down to King Road. It's very complicated.
And
That's
you would
why I
think
thought
they
this
would
was a
also wanna
visiting
see
place.
How he got up there. I agree with you. I think they would have, of any case, a jury visit would have really been impactful, I think.
It's encouraging to see that I'm not the only one that thought that. I guess it was a big controversy when they did tear the house down. But why would you destroy Exhibit A? I mean, I just don't understand.
Yeah.
I really don't
Yeah.
get it.
Doesn't make sense.
Especially when you have this
It-
fuckery going on. Oh, good.
Yeah, it made my radar go off. Like, I'm sure everybody was like, what are they trying to hide?
Well, I totally
mean-
understand that. Like, school was about to start, and you got fucking a tragedy tourist going there and posing for photos in front of the house, and many of these kids that are going back for the next semester were friends with the victims of the crime. So I fully understand how they wouldn't want it to be there. But wouldn't
for
justice
sure.
for their
Yeah.
peers be more vital to the situation than
Yeah.
feeling discomfort? I mean, I see both sides of it. At the same time, I think it was a mistake to do.
Yeah.
Marie says, it's like if you ever survived a bad house fire, the smell or location can be triggering. Maybe the house being there was difficult. I do disagree with them being I think we agree, Marie. I see both sides of it, but to me, it boils down to getting justice for the victims, and I mean, if this, okay, let's say, for instance, this was a crime that occurred in a car, and the car is parked somewhere, and the people in the neighborhood are not happy with where, would they destroy the car? It's too vital. It seems like a huge mistake. Although,
Yeah.
I mean, I would have to do some research to find out how other situations like this were held or handled. But I'm willing to bet, and this is just a pure guess, I'm willing to bet that it's pretty odd that the scene.
It
of the crime
is. It is, because I mean, I've been watching trials ever since OJ, and well, I'm from Milwaukee, so I mean, Dahmer didn't have a trial, but I've watched many court proceedings and trials, and I've followed true crime and read many books, and it is very odd.
Yeah. Have you ever done any true crime tourism? Have you ever gone and looked at
No,
Dahmer's neighborhood?
I'm right down the road from Dahmer's neighborhood.
Oh
He
shit.
was right, like literally, he's probably 2 miles from my house is where his house was, and they tore
There-
that down. They tore that down, but it was down. It was after he was, convicted.
Sure, sure. Um, Shit, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, up in Sacramento, where I just come from, before I came down to Pismo, that I didn't know the Golden State Killer was just a few blocks away. Um,
Oh, really?
yeah, that's where he was found in a suburban neighborhood, like outside of Sacramento. And I went and checked that
Wow.
out. It's pretty unassuming, just a regular old house, and normal family lives there now. Um, just terrifying. Marie
Yeah.
says. Curious says, could they have videos and pictures of the empty house for court purposes? Oh, more than that, Curious. They have full digital scans of. I mean, if there was a hair on the ground, the equipment that they went in and scanned it. Yes, to answer your question, yes, they have full scans. They can recreate digitally in 3D every inch of that house. I
Yeah.
remember distinctly them rolling in the equipment. It's the super high tech stuff. Ronnie,
Yeah.
you
It's just for me, it's like I have there's a big difference being able to feel a place, I
exactly.
mean, the energy of it, it's a big difference to me that,
Well, if they're
digital, next best thing is the digital, the virtual tour, whatever.
But it's a
But
distant second, I think. Yeah, it's.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, just if I was a juror, and I think it's important to show the perspective of the potential perpetrator, to show what he could see from the obvious camera footage that we have of where his car was. That's all so important. But I guess they do have that footage. But I'm a firm believer that this any kind of digital mock-up of the location is a distant second to the actual location, it being there itself.
I agree. Well, listen, there's nobody better than you at doing this kind of work for a number of reasons, and I'll just blow your horn for a minute here. You have such incredible empathy. You tackle every story that you do, not just as a reporter, as Brian, and you tell every story that you tell as Brian, and it's really helpful to people like me because you're like a translator of the complex. You take these complex things that you've collected all day, and then you give us like a bedtime story, which really makes sense, and it's easy to remember, it's easy to process, and it's easy to understand. And so, for that reason, I just think there's just no one better in the business
thank you. You're
as a
the best.
reporter. So, I, for one, am glad to work with you. I'm also just thrilled that you're on this story because it is going to be it's going to be a marathon. Thanks for doing this tonight.
Thanks, Ash.
Love you.
love you.
Wow.
That was weird.
Hey, Ashley, I don't think
Was-
he's into you. No, just saying.
I don't think you're his type, Ashley. I don't know. I'm just guessing, but
That's funny.
wow.
Marie says, if I were juror, I don't know if I would want to go inside there. I think that would be traumatizing to some.
Yeah,
Well, I
but
mean, undoubtedly. I think undoubtedly it would be, but also vital to.
there's but yeah, it's vital, and there's a traumatizing things that happen in every trial. Not every trial, but imagine a trial of a child murder. I mean, the things they might have to hear and see that you can't ever unsee. In Karen Reed, just 2 days ago, they had to show like an autopsy photo of the inside of John O'Keefe's stomach, and they literally had to stop because and dismiss the jury because people were getting sick. So.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's part of it's part of, unfortunately, it's part of their service to this, to the system and to the public. But,
Tough stuff for sure. Yvette says, was the
Yeah.
Golden State Killer found in Elk Grove. My niece lives there. If I remember correctly, it was a neighborhood called Citrus Heights, which is a suburb of Sacramento. There was also, just before I left there was one of the most horrific crimes. I don't even know how to word it. But it was a father eliminating their child, and this was just blocks away from where I was. And it's such a fucking crazy story. By all accounts, this man walked his kid and was friendly with the neighbors. He was a Ukrainian immigrant. And he was, by all accounts, he was perfectly fine until he got the COVID shot, and then he started acting wild. Is there any connection? I don't fucking know, but that's what his family says.
I have suspicions about the COVID vaccines.
Yeah. Me too. I mean, everyone does. But I mean,
yeah.
But I mean, here's
the
my
alternative.
Here's my theory on that. I don't believe that's what caused that man to do such a horrible thing. Because if it did make people do that, there'd be millions and millions of people doing that.
Right.
So, I mean, he must have been predisposed to some type of disorder.
Right, but and if it was, it's definitely an anomaly. And nobody will ever know, anyways. It's all speculation.
I've seen so many. I respect people with an opinion with genuine concern about it, but then you have fucking weirdo conspiracy theories that are just, if it wasn't the vaccine, they'd be obsessed over the flat Earth or fucking. The Greys or some other weird shit. You know what I mean? So it's just
the Greys.
It's tough to know. And he says, I feel like there's so many jurors that will need counseling after serving. Oh yeah, and I wonder if they're offered that.
Oh, they do. They do. And the house would be traumatic, but imagine when they have to look at autopsy photos, and hear the ME's testimony. That's going to be, you can't unsee or unhear that, because it was gruesome,
Yeah, definitely. KDP says the stairs and many walls were taken out. Adulterers. Are we talking about the Idaho house? Because that house is leveled. I mean, it's now.
No, before that, it was taken apart. A lot of it was removed.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Marie says she can comfortably say I love you and no, he won't read into it. It's a safe place. Love my gay friend for that. Well, yeah, I mean, I was just making a joke. Anyway.
Yeah, it was just weird.
In case anyone's curious, I give two shits who people sleep with. It makes no difference to me at all. So long as they're not hurting each other, fucking love is love. I used to have a theory that I was more pro gay guys, because the way I saw it, it increased my statistics of finding the mate that I was looking for. I'm like, go for it, guys. But then at that point, the lesbians are messing up my game, because they're messing up my statistics that way. So, and that's all selfish. It has nothing to do with looking down at someone. Like I truly don't care and I don't care what someone looks like with their clothes off. I don't care if you got this or that or both. It makes no difference to me. Just be a good person. Don't be a piece of shit. I don't give a fuck what you do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get back let me show you this. Okay, I want to show you another resource that I've been using. This is CBS Channel 2. I'm not going to play all of it because it's like 20 minutes long, but I want to show you the quality of this local media outlet. Oh, it's buffering. All right, let me share this. I was really impressed. This came up in my feed after, and yes, hi KDB, by the way, KDP. Thanks for being here. Yvette says, okay, thanks. I just looked up Citrus Heights, northern end of Sacramento, Elk Grove, and southern end of Sacramento. Okay, cool. See, I knew Elk Grove's like one of those names. It seems like every city has one of those. That's what confused me. Okay, so this is CBS Channel 2. I think it's out of Boise. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm sure they'll tell us. This one. Just the quality of their coverage. I was just like, holy shit, man, this is like national news level stuff. Can you guys see that? Yeah, okay. Oh, fumbling around over here.
What is the rest of the address?
Oh,
Kings Road.
The energy is everywhere. They don't know how to react.
Tell me exactly what's going on.
One of the roommates is passed out, and she was drunk last night, and she's not waking up.
They're still in this level of denial of what's actually transpired in their home.
Okay.
Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah.
At first, the police came out and said there was nothing suspicious about it.
Can I just tell you what happened pretty much?
What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now?
The dispatcher doesn't want to hear about what they think happened. They want to find out if we can actually save this life.
I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m.
Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out?
Yeah, I'll come. Come on, Bethany, you gotta go check. But we have to.
There was somebody in the house at 4 a.m.
Is it passed out?
Do you guys see what I'm talking about? I mean, of course it's fucking over dramatic, but I mean just the quality of the video and the way they're doing it. It's almost like, you know, this local news production is offering, you know, their viewers like Dateline, Nightline quality, you know, coverage. It's wild. And again, it's just Channel 2 in Idaho.
Yeah, if I saw this on my local news, it would be different.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm from Pittsburgh. My local news isn't this quality. I mean, you do get some of this with LA channels, but I don't know. Call me an asshole.
Right, it's
for
just
not
a
thinking that Idaho,
different
you know,
vibe.
yeah.
Usually there's not music
we're
in
so
the
used to
background, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we're so used to local news just being kind of like a used car, at least I am, like a used car
Yeah.
commercial quality stuff,
Yeah.
you know?
Straight and to the point, counting every second.
Oh, no, what's wrong? She's not waking up.
Okay, one moment. I'm getting help started that way.
Okay, thank you.
You don't see this sort of thing happening on a regular basis.
Okay, and how old is she?
She's 20.
Looks
Whoops.
like Emmy
Are
may
you-
do
okay.
a live on the. Yeah, I took it down. Listening to those calls. I don't want to trigger people. We've all listened to that already. I just wanted to give you guys a resource for another outlet for information because that channel is really crushing it. So he says, so many women think I'm a lesbian, including lesbians. No guys ever think I'm a lesbian. I've been told it's because I'm too honest. I do like my tools a bit too much to be cis. Fair enough. To me, it's so weird. Like I was called gay yesterday as though that's an insult. I mean, what are we? Is it 1982? What the fuck is happening here? Sarah says it would be traumatizing
Yeah,
to me.
that was very homophobic sounding.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's not an insult.
No. That's
at
what's
all.
made it
But I
weird.
guess it is
That's
for
what
some
made it
people,
weird.
so.
It's like when B. Tim calls you homeless all the time. You know, it's just insulting to, you know, it's just,
Yeah.
you know, as if in being homeless is, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, he definitely strikes me as the type of guy that would tell, a homeless senior citizen asking for change to get a fucking job. He's that kind of guy. It's like, yeah,
Definitely.
you don't think you thought of that already?
Yeah, I see them folks all the time. People really hate homeless people for some reason.
It disgusts me. And what else one more thing I want to show you. And we're gonna lighten the friggin' mood here. We're gonna have a look at Ninja Orchid's patio because she's fucking living her best life. There's no other way to put it. Here it is. We might not watch the whole thing because it's 11 minutes long, but we get to hear her lovely voice and see her beautiful plants. So let's have a look here. Make that. Oh, hold on. I know what I'm doing. I swear. Let's see here. This is so cool. And what a beautiful patio, Ninja. Little envious. I've been envious of my neighbor down the road. Just bought this $500,000 RV and it's just like a fucking command center. It's so awesome. What am I doing here? Here we go. And if you're not subscribed to Ninja or Orchids, do yourself a favor right away and do that. She's got 10,000 subscribers, so she's crushing it over there, and she's doing it with kindness and joy. Like what a novel idea, right? Ninja says B Tim is an ignorant dweeb. Yes, he's an impotent man-child. You being gay made us like you more. There you go. Yeah, you're right, Curious. Beautiful for sure. All right, let's lighten the mood. As we just saw the Kohberger trials heating up, we're all interested in that. I urge everyone to, if you've got channels out there, please just stick to the facts and don't, I guess I went a little off the trails, questioning whether or not maybe they did a mushroom, but I mean, I'm just sharing with you like what I was thinking, like what would make me do that. Of course, I'm not them. I wasn't there. I just, in any case, this is Ninja. She's the shit.
Sigh, breathe in, and enjoy the wonderful fragrances of freesias in the sun coming from my Dendrobium nobile, no ID in the front. Then pick up the note of gorgeous roses, which is carried by the light breeze coming from my Dendrobium nobile variety Cooksoneanum behind the no ID. Such a wonderful show, much needed on the first nice sunny day after 5 weeks of a dismal, washed out, gloomy and cold March. This footage was taken during the first week.
I must say, this is a beautiful thing because while the rest of us are trying to destroy each other, we've got beautiful Ninja Orchids over there just creating life on her patio. Just imagine what that fucking must smell like. Excuse the F-bomb. But yeah, imagine what that must smell like.
Week of April 2025. I know, it's been a while. The blooming of these two orchids were an abundance that I was eagerly anticipating, and they did not disappoint with what they wanted to do for us. Abundance! That is the key word on the patio at this time, so welcome to the patio. It's so good to have you here.
Ninja says that there's an orchid in this video I grow in memory of my son. I appreciate the shout out. Oh, you're more than welcome. We got nothing but love for you here. Which orchid is it? You said is it in view? I can go back a hair. Which one is it? Beautiful flowers though. Holy cow. And I know maybe many of you don't have the experience with orchids that I do, but I understand orchid people. I worked at a hotel in Santa Barbara for a few years, and I don't know how it ranks in size of orchid festivals, but Santa Barbara has a big one at the Earl Warren Showgrounds there. And the hotel was fancy, so we had people, Japanese businessmen, Korean politicians' wives, just people from all over the world walking around with these little glass cases, protecting their orchids with their life. Like if the temperature in this thing goes up 5 degrees or down 5 degrees, they're in trouble. So it was wild. It's like a bunch of adults with a hobby. They're protecting their plants like children. It was cool. A couple of them were jerks, but in general, they were just such pleasant people.
Anticipating, and they did not disappoint with what they wanted to do for us. Abundance! That is the key word on the patio at this time, so welcome to the patio. It's so good to have you here. Sure, we have an abundance of blooms from the nobile dendrobiums. I was so looking forward to showing them to you. However, I also have an abundance of botrytis in these blooms, which is hardly surprising because the buds were forming during the month of March when all we had was water. Water in the form of torrential rain coming from above, and when it wasn't raining, we had water in the atmosphere in form of 19.
Can we just take a second and give Ninja a shout out for how well spoken she is? I appreciate that so much.
And she's so upbeat.
Yes.
She's just so upbeat, yeah.
Definitely. I mean, when I'm feeling low and I need some inspiration, I'll check out Ninja, or I'll check out shit, I'm at a loss now. It'll come to me.
99% humidity day after day, week after week. So, Abundance in form of botrytis was the theme for my nobiles, which is such a shame because I had to cut the blooming of these too short by cutting off the blooms with the offensive fungus. And that is what I will be doing throughout this video while I show you what else came into bloom. Before we do that though, I take heart at the fact that these two orchids still performed beautifully. I mean, the Cooksonianum had more blooms than she did last year because of the 5 new growths she grew in the 23-24 season. She never really stopped being an active growth, so I was excited to see what a show she would put on this spring. Unfortunately, I had to intervene, but still, it was glorious to see from a distance. So while I trim the blooms off the nobiles, let me show you my Ancelia africanas. We had so many spikes on the go. It was also promising to be a sensational best blooming ever for these group of orchids. Quick disclaimer, please do not think that the canes should be leafless. Nope. And that is because of the conditions these Ancelias have had to endure. Previous year's growth should not be leafless the following year when that cane blooms, but still, the canes that grew all had spikes, and I was super pleased they survived every.
Wow, look at that. Look at that lady. Wow, look at that color. That's incredible.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I know it's almost Cleveland Browns colors.
Yeah.
I had to interject a sports reference there, but I mean, I'm a color guy. I can't help myself. KCG's back and says, I deeply respect orchids, but I'm afraid of them. I have a renewed relationship with the only plant remaining alive in my house. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Ninja can tell you, but orchids are pretty fickle plants. I mean, they're not in any way rugged, and you just have to tend to them properly. Obviously, she is. Also, something I learned from the Santa Barbara Orchid Festival is, did you know that vanilla comes from an orchid? That's why it's so fucking expensive, because they
Really?
Yeah, the little beans grow on an orchid. I had no idea.
Wow, I thought they were their own thing.
I thought so too, but nope, they grow like little dangly beans growing right off an orchid. I'll show a picture of that. I'm sure Ninja is well aware of that. I'm not teaching her anything about orchids, that's for sure. Hey, Spudler, thanks so much for being here. They are beautiful, aren't they?
Hey, Spudler.
Always good to see you, Spudler.
Hey, Love Wins.
Everything Mother Nature threw at them. The blooms on my buffalo crossed with Leo, however, did not perform as they had in the past because botrytis was spoiling their longevity as well, and unfortunately many buds just blasted because they declined during the wet conditions. So I don't have much to show for other than the images you see here. However, my puff adder crossed with Joe, my oh my, all new growths of 2024 were in spike, and it appeared that botrytis was not going to harm these blooms, but something else came along and did just that to some spikes. I can't win. I have no idea what came and chewed off many spikes to halfway, but then again I suppose I need to be grateful that whatever it was, it did not chew the entire spike. Oh, at least the critter left me with some blooms to enjoy when the buds opened. Goodness me, trust, when I saw the chewed spikes, no botrytis, but still not being able to have the whole spike to look forward to, I was so mad. Yeah, I snicker now, but back then, when I took the pics, I was not a happy camper. Result, however, Puff Adder and Joe has the best blooming ever with even the smaller growths.
Do we got a pizza oven in the back?
Because the winter came.
I'm sorry, what was that, Irish?
We got a pizza oven in the back there?
Is that what it was? A patio pizza oven, huh?
That's what it looks like to me.
I'm telling you, Ninja is secretly living a way better life than
yeah.
Michelle Vincent. Geez, I can read, I swear. It says 20 more minutes and I'm off to work. All right, Michelle. Well, hopefully
At least you call it, Ninja. You didn't call her Ninja Orchard today.
No, geez, I can't read too. That's the thing. I read more than most of my friends, and I just sometimes you just get stuck.
Yeah.
Love Wins. I'm told I have a green thumb and have many plants, but I keep an orchid alive. Can't keep an orchid alive at well. It's frustrating, so I gave up. I used to buy them at the farmer's market and try, and then I would feel guilty because much like Ninja calls them her girls, like I felt guilty that I was like, It's my fault. Look what I've done.
Look what I've done. Yeah, I don't even try with plants anymore because they hate me.
We'll watch a couple more minutes, and I do urge everyone to subscribe to Ninja if you're looking for something that's just pleasant. I mean, you're not going to find her interjecting drama into her beautiful flower situation here. Or maybe she does. I mean, I'm not exactly sure, but if you need a break from the bullshit, check out the flowers,
They also have a spike. And by the way, I had nubbins growing on the bottom of the canes, which I had never seen before. They turned out to be spikes, which aborted. Perhaps something chewed on them as well. I cannot say for sure because when
Michelle's going to kick my ass. Get in line, Michelle. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that on purpose.
I went to check, it wasn't easy for me to tell what may have taken them out, but I am assuming it was the critter. Meanwhile, I have plenty of blooms to show for without botrytis, so I will take that as a small win. My Ascocentrum did not bloom for me for the first time since she grew into a blooming size orchid. Her spike was washed out and it withered. Perhaps a good thing because I do want her keikis to get a grow on with roots. So hopefully we have bought ourselves more time with her not blooming this time around. And then I found this picture of my Masai Red in better bloom than in my previous videos, so I just wanted to share that. I had forgotten that I had taken this pic, and it turns out I only took it from the back.
I love
because
that.
It was a pretty
So cool.
sight, seeing as the blooms looked rather haggard and rough from the front, also because of the weather conditions. Anyway, looks pretty from behind too. Washed out were also the spikes of my Blatia albostriata, but I managed to capture these for you. Nothing really to show for, no pink blooms for us this year, even though the bowl is filled with abundant large growths. It turns out I now have 2 albostriata seed pods, and this is the only bloom that opened. The buds you see in these images, they turned brown and fell off. Similar story with my Fias. But wow, hey, I was not expecting any of my 2 Fias leads to even grow a spike, so I guess this is a bonus? Not really. We have the classic weather.
I'm looking for a stopping point, but she packs it in there, so I don't want to
Yeah.
cut it
Yeah.
So if I can find a stopping point, we'll stop. If not, we'll just
She
watch
said,
it.
did we see the pink one yet? Or is this, wait, this looks like it actually. Is
I
this the
think-
one, Ninja? That's your daughter's?
Yeah.
I'm thinking it might be. It
She
looks
also
like her
said-
avatar, so
Yes, that's the one. Then she said, it is her avatar, her profile pic.
yeah.
Hey, Miss America, thanks for being here. Let's just finish it all. There's only 5 minutes left, and then I'll show you. What where vanilla beans come from, which it blew my mind. Also, do you guys know where pecans? What are those nuts?
Pistachios.
No, the more expensive ones. It'll come to me. Let's finish this up.
The damage and a drowned out bud. However, considering what state she was in on the root front in her broken pot in summer
She said no, it's not.
2024,
Skip
this
forward.
was a nice surprise,
We'll watch it, though.
even if I could
Yeah,
not
we'll get there.
enjoy her attempt at blooming. Same day that I took the Nobly footage that you saw at the beginning of the video, I got my Cattleya maxima out because, wow, this made me so happy. I cannot tell you. She bloomed again, simultaneously on 2 of her 3 growths, with 4 sensational blooms on each spike. Even though the footage you see is a video, it was so wind still
Cashew. That's it. Thank you, Zoe.
on that day that it looks as if it is an image. The orchid is hardly moving, and I loved my time with her on the east side
This one.
table because the
It
must have
intensity
been.
of the elegant rose fragrance
Okay, yeah.
finally had a chance to throw itself all around me with that sunshine on her and all of that good stuff that a sunny day
Beautiful.
in southern Spain brings. J'adore. At this
Incredible.
point in time, I had a 3rd growth with a chubby sheath, and I was hoping that these 2 spikes would hold on until the 3rd one bloomed as well, because that would be a first for me, but nope, I guess. 5 blooms on a single growth needed their own show, no competing, just them, and I get it. So, This was a first for me as well, to have 5 blooms on a single growth from my maxima. It was insane, and I was overwhelmed to say the least.
I mean, not to be funny, but the video quality of Ninja is just incredible.
I was just thinking
But when
that.
it comes to footage jumping back in time,
I mean, I have
Very
so much-
professional.
I have
Yeah.
so much to learn. Like, holy cow. It's just so cool. Yes, and it's a cashew. Did you guys know that one cashew nut grows out of the top of something that's called a fucking cashew apple? And each one of these fruits just has one cashew on the top of it. And then you can eat the fucking fruit, the cashew apple that it grows out of, and it tastes like mango. I'm 47 years old, and I'm a foodie, and I've never heard of this in my entire life.
Wow.
You guys, it's blew my mind.
for the first time in 2 years, my Cattleya intermedia came into bloom again. She stayed outside all winter this time around, and while the weather was atrocious, I guess she had more light outside than she ever would have had inside, and here she is in bloom again. That made me happy as well, and for the foreseeable future, she will now be one of the orchids that just stays outside every winter. I had a bit of bruising marks on the lips, which could be humidity related, but I think that there was a pest around that caused those. I did not see anything damaging wise when the blooms first opened, but when I went to document her, the damage was visible. Still, her rose fragrance, while not as intense as the Maxima, is a welcome experience in the blooming alley because she resides on a shelf that is at nose level. And the second piece of the intermedia was coming into bloom for the first time as well. That was exciting to see. Despite being smaller, I left this piece outside all winter as well, and the result was a bud, which blasted. And that could be for a number of reasons. It could be the first time bloomers, they will do that, or because we had a nasty drop in temperature just as the bud broke through the sheath. Anyway, at least I know now that this orchid is also blooming size, and we shall see what she does in the coming years. A milestone it is, regardless. One of my favorite little dendrobiums came into bloom with a disappointing single spike. I was hoping for more from my Krista Erdmann because she grew another new growth throughout the winter, and she has to live outside as well. That is why she also looks a little stressed. Too dry in the summer and a tad too cold in the winter. Anyway.
Yeah, that's definitely a pizza oven. I can see it now.
These blooms, they always take my breath away, and it is really unfortunate that they only last 10 days at best. So this orchid is growing really well despite her visual aspect. I was really hoping for 2 or 3 spikes this year, because that is what I had showing last year, and then a critter came and chewed the spikes down, much like what happened with my Ancelia this year. Well, at least we got this spike, so...
Also, not to be funny, but if you're an animal that eats plants, those things are probably friggin' delicious.
Yeah.
Chill,
oh, I
baby,
love
chill.
those.
Now I wonder where I am at with the trimming of my Nobly blooms, but before I love and leave you, I would like to show you the scene of my spring blooming Rapiculus Lalius -1. If you would like to see this specific video, I have linked it in the description because I go into more detail about each one in that video, and I want to show you my Brassavola tuberculata buds, also known as coming soon. It's going to be great. And we have these 2 to look forward to. Cartwheels around the patio is all I can say. So, again, before I love and leave you, I am going back to my 3rd growth blooming on my Cattleya maxima and ask you to please give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel and help me get into the algorithm by sharing the video. I appreciate the much needed and so kindly given support. Thank you so much for watching to the end, because that gives me the opportunity to wish you a wonderful day. Stay fabulous, and while you're busy doing that, there's a condition I do attach to it. Please stay safe. Take care. Bye.
So cool.
There, I just dropped your link again.
Oh. All right, and we're back. Thanks for letting me share that, Ninja. That's so cool of you. All right, I think I'm going to wrap it up, but I do want to show you really quickly the vanilla beans and the cashews. The cashews is what really blew my mind. The vanilla bean, now that I've been aware of that for so many years, it doesn't surprise me, but friggin', I mean, it's crazy. I'll show you. Here, I'll just play this, guys. Let's see.
स्टेम आएगा बोटा बेड़ा
Come on, my Chromebook is just lagging. Okay, you guys can't see it. Cool. All right.
वाला ड्राई करके वानिला बनता है
The beans.
ये कभी नहीं देखा अच्छा स्टेम आएगा बोटा बेड़ा वाला ड्राई करके वानिला बनता है ये कभी नहीं देखा अच्छा स्टेम आएगा बोटा
How cool is that? I mean, they look just like green beans when they're ripening. Rapper says, "I'm going to get buried in flowers." There's a company out of I think Seattle that will take your remains and put it in the root of a baby tree, so your remains fertilize the life of a new tree. I always thought that was a pretty novel idea.
Yeah, I want to do that too. You know, I want to go and get back to the earth.
Yes. All right, now let me show you quickly cashew. You know what I took away from Ninja's video as well? I need a hobby that I get excited about like that. I'm envious on 3 levels. Let's see, origin. If this doesn't blow your mind, I don't think much will. It should freak me out. Sorry for the lag, guys. I'm clicking on stuff and it's taking like 6-7 seconds for it to even open up. I don't know what's happening. All right, let me share this. Can you guys see?
Yep.
In select tropical climates around the world, from the bottom of a hanging fruit like this. Each fruit grows just one shelled nut, called a drupe, which workers separate by hand. The nuts must then dry under the sun to help draw out some of the shell's caustic liquid. The most difficult and dangerous step is splitting open the nut. After a machine splits open the shells, the next 2 crucial stages totally depend on workers. The nuts are roasted to ensure, again, that the toxic liquid inside is destroyed. The next stage, workers must peel off the husk, or the dry outer.
All right, that's a little bit less of the fruit. The fruit is the part that freaked me out. Here, this lady has a better close-up of it. I watched her. I mean, it looks just like an apple.
That's so crazy.
She shook her head no, like she's not sure. You guys get the idea. I don't know why I didn't know that. It does explain to me why freaking I love cashews. Now I know why they cost so much. Because you only get one friggin' nut from each fruit on a tree, so no wonder. And also the process, I don't know if you heard in that first short that I showed, but the process to make the nuts edible, it's crazy. They have to sun bake them, then they have to bake them a couple times, or else they're toxic. Conversely, the fruit you can eat right away. You don't have to process it in any way. Someone said that they're bitter and don't taste like mangoes. I believe you. I've never tasted it myself. I'm just going off of what I've been watching. Sinner and his nuts. Good observation. Good observation.
These nuts.
I like bell pepper too. Guess what I just learned about bell peppers? I love learning shit. Did you know that green bell peppers are just unripe fucking red and yellow peppers? I had no idea. That's why.
Oh, really?
Yep, that's why they taste differently, because they're not fully ripened. I had no idea about them. And also, a red bell pepper has almost 3 times the nutrition of the other bell peppers. For some reason, just the way they're made.
They're fully ripe. They're fully ripened, I would imagine.
Yep, and that's I mean, and when I learned that just a couple days ago, I was like, well, maybe that's why I gravitate towards, like, my body knows it's more nutritious. Red bell peppers are always my favorite. So there's
Yeah.
something my body's like, my body knows. It's kind of neat.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for being here. I know it's not the dramatic 400 person chat when I'm bashing a whatever, but we'll get back into that.
It's good. It's
I have
good,
to strike
though.
a-
I like it.
I have to strike a balance here. I'm not going to just, some of these people aren't worth, going back and forth with. Ninja loves the red too. Me too. How's everybody feeling? Thanks for being here. Hey, it's still early in the day. Go out there and do good things. If you haven't, take care of your neighborhoods. Maybe go for a walk, pick up some trash, say hello to your neighbors, tend to your gardens, get your gardens going. It's that time of year. So much we could be doing to build stuff instead of destroying things. I'm proud to let you guys know that the month of June is going, or where am I at? May? Yes, the month of June is going to be orange. Turns out that's the traditional color for June. I didn't know that, so
I love orange.
Expect a lot of Buddha orange colors flying. Yeah, it's the color of contemplation. The warm summer. It's an important color. So I'm going to be transitioning into orange for the next month. So I'm already cranking out the graphics. To be honest with you, I'm cranking out graphics for Christmas already because I love the fucking holidays, and I'm going to have some of the craziest videos and all kinds of cool stuff for the holidays. We're just getting started over here at the Lemon Grove. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I have much else to share. Do you have anything else you want to share? Just Irish?
Nope, I'm good. Thanks for letting me come up. It was a good time.
Okay, cool.
All right, I will see you guys
You're
later.
welcome anytime I'm live, unless I'm doing
All right, cool.
unless I'm doing one of those crazy rants you don't want to be around for. Then any other time you're more than welcome up.
All right, thanks. Love you guys.
Yes,
See ya.
yes. Thank you so much. You're the best. Take care.
Okay.
Yes, Orange June. Thanks, Irish. You're the best. See that? What a pleasant person Irish is. You know what I mean? People that are talking negatively about my friend there, they're obviously, something's up. Keep talking the shit, and I'm going to keep sharing my platform with her so she can show the world that she is not what these dummies say she is. She's a great person. I swear I'm not illiterate. I didn't see what you said. No Dog is saying turn that dude off. Hey Boston, I just want to. It's sitting in my head now that I was like going against your theories and your ideas about the Idaho 4. I don't know what happened, so I don't want to. I'm sorry if I belittled your opinion. We disagree on it, but I respect your opinion totally. And I do get what you're saying, and it's not irrational whatsoever. I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. Hopefully, people stop leaking stuff so we can have a fair trial, and God willing, we'll, have some vindication for the victims of that crime. I'm gonna play you guys out with my normal outro song. It's 11:11. Make a wish. I might be back later today. Emmy's considering going live to cover the tragic storms in Kentucky. If you're not familiar, that happened through the night. It was terrible. I have a hard time covering tragic cases. I just don't like to do it. But Emmy does it with such professionalism and grace that I'm able to at least absorb the information. Until we meet again, guys. If you find yourself in an emergency today and the oxygen mask drops down in front of you, make sure you carefully affix it to your own face and get that oxygen into you, because if you don't help yourself, it's impossible to help anyone else. And let's face it, that's our whole purpose on Earth, is to look out for each other and help each other. Right, Buzzy? Right? That's what we're doing here. It's not about collecting bags of money and destroying people's existences. It's about lifting people up and being better people. Let's do more of that. What do you say? You guys in? All right. Until we meet again, thanks so much for being here. Don't worry. For those thirsty for the drama, there's plenty of that coming. Just needed a break. Enjoy your Saturday, guys. Take care. Sinner out. Hero.
You gotta take control. Life's too short. Get out of your head, make a better life instead. You gotta give it all your best. So put your hands up to the sky and live your best life, alright. Don't just let it go by, just try, oh my. Got only one life, got only this time. We gonna get it right. You gotta let go of those who don't belong in your tribe. So cut the bad out of your life. Yeah, do it one time. You gotta work till you're winning. Yeah, take control of the system. When you invest, it's addicting. No time to rest, let's go get it. Not gonna.
You know, I can't make it through my outro song without stopping and saying something. If you haven't subscribed to Savage, she is fucking back and better than ever, rocking it out with Flava. I mean, you guys got to get over there and take part in this. Yeah, do it. Her numbers are up, and I want to see them continue to grow. Her experience with local community was not exactly what she wanted, but I think nothing but great things are going to come out of it coming forward. So if I had it my way, she would build her own dynasty the same way they did. She's totally capable, and she has all the capable people around her and supporting her too. God bless each of you, and God bless the ship.
Gonna stop till I'm finished, not gonna drop to my limits. Deep in my chest, I'm inhaling, believe in testing and failing. You gotta flip everything in your mind. Take the limiting thoughts and turn them into your why. Prove to yourself you're worth it, you deserve it. Push past all the hurt and find your purpose. You gotta take control. Life's too short. Get out of your head, make a better life instead. You gotta give it all your best, so don't let go. Take control. Get out of your head, make a better life instead. You gotta give it all your best, give it all your best. Yo, never gonna stop, no way, no. Yelling out, hey, yo, headed to the top on our way, yo. You gotta make change, yeah, there's gonna be a little pain, but nothing's worse than staying the same. So light that flame, put the work in, go claim everything you want in this place. It's time to go fast, know that energy is all cash. You could get it all if you never give up, no slack. Headed to the top is a mystery, your own path. Never gonna stop, no, you got this, never go back. I know it gets hard, you gotta love it. You gotta recharge with what you want and think of your dreams. Get that energy to go and get everything. Let's go. You gotta take control. Life's too short. Get out of your head, make a better life instead. You gotta give it all your best, so don't let